What's going on, Dash and the Middlers? I've got a great guest for you this week. We learn all about his life as a businessman, how he turned a pressure washing company that he started when he was 16 into a highly successful biohazard cleaning company known as Florida Emergency Cleaning. We talk all about what it's like to run a business, tips and tricks for you if you're trying to start something of your own. We talk about his faith as a Christian, and we talk about hardships that he and his family had to overcome and how important forgiveness really is. Please welcome my dear friend, Mr. Nathan Todd. Big dog. Are we good?
We're good.
You recorded?
That's what he said.
Okay. All right. Well, it takes him forever to do that. He's just like stares at the recording buttons. Anyway, all right, buddy. Thanks for coming in, man.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you coming down and sitting down with us.
Yeah, of course.
Really and truly, you were the first guest.
I was, but
the
quality.
The host. Shame on the host.
Shame.
Yeah, shame on the host for the quality of it. But appreciate you coming back and coming into the studio for a little redo.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just go ahead and I want to touch as many bases as we can while you're here. So let's just start from the beginning, where you were born and just some interests you had growing up and your family life.
Okay, so raised in Martin County, born here, one of 8 siblings. I'm number 7. Interests, we were homeschooled, so a little bit sheltered, that and the holiness movement. So a little sheltered, but we got out with martial arts. We had a school that was a guy we knew from a church that we were a part of. Didn't have a lot of money, but he offered to teach us for free. So a lot of us went through his program. We most of us did it. I fell in love with it. I did it for I think probably the longest and taught it. My plan was to take over the Taekwondo school, but it didn't happen that way. But that was my goal as a kid.
Wow. So you initially wanted to take over?
Oh yeah, that was like my life was
Taekwondo.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
So
wow. No, yeah. Dude, Miles, I think you have to turn off your mic. I want to say, no, I didn't know that was your initial interest.
Oh, I loved it. It
was Taekwondo.
I wanted to do it for so long. I'd watched my brothers do it, and then I had wanted to do it for so long. Finally got an opportunity, and then just went any time the doors were open. Eventually got a key, so I got to go there by myself and train. I trained at home. I opened I cleaned it afterwards. I was there all the time. So.
Do you still do that?
No, not anymore. I just stopped when at some point in my business, I realized that I wasn't able to have a family.
Yeah.
And Taekwondo at the same. So I'm like, it's one or the other, and the family wins.
I was gonna guess that you were already at like 20th degree black belt. There was just no more room for improvement.
No.
Well,
no.
You're a black belt though, aren't you?
Yeah, no 20th. Yeah.
What's the highest?
Ninth. It depends on the sport though. Taekwondo, it's usually 9th dan.
Are you ninth?
Jiu-jitsu is different. No, that's like a 50, 60 year process.
Okay. That's like lifetime.
Yeah.
Lifetime. But you're like a 1st degree, 2nd degree?
3rd.
Oh, see?
Almost,
okay.
Almost
see?
3rd. I put the time in for the 3rd. Didn't actually get the 3rd because I just couldn't. Yeah. So I'm only a 2nd, but.
Oh, only. He's only a casual 2nd degree.
I just wish
belt.
that I'd put the last couple of months in, but I just couldn't.
Is there any way to pick it up, or that stuff is like kind of lapsed?
I've had opportunities to, but at this point I have 2 kids. I don't have time to do that.
Dude, you're a busy man.
I've struggled with it. Like, does it matter? And if I did it, who would I be doing it for? And I just realized that it would just be a selfish thing. So
for sure,
it's not going to change anything.
No.
One extra stripe on a belt.
Yeah, you can still whoop up on anybody on the street.
Yeah.
2nd degree or 3rd degree, right?
Yeah, and then I did some jiu-jitsu later on, and that was really fun. But again, just I don't have the time. It's not. The sacrifice isn't worth it.
Yeah.
So.
No, roger that. So what kind of interest did you have other than Taekwondo growing up? Or was that kind of your life?
That was kind of my life.
Just steadily in there.
That was it. I mean, yeah, that was really it. And then when I was young, my brother taught me how to invest in like little ways, just like everything from buying and selling things at yard sales, from like silver and gold to a couple of them had their own businesses. My dad was a small time builder, and then some of my brothers had a motorcycle repair shop. My dad had a motorcycle repair shop as a kid, as a college kid. He had a little shop where he fixed old Hondas.
Wow.
Another brother did exterior cleaning. Another brother did window cleaning. And so I'd seen a couple of them do that. And so when I was 16, I started my business, just a little cleaning business, just exterior window cleaning, pressure cleaning, and janitorial cleaning. That's what I knew.
Mm-hmm.
So I just worked anytime I had the chance. Being homeschooled, I had a lot of opportunities with a big family. They all had their own businesses, so they didn't really care about labor laws. I was like 12 years old, staying up till 1 a.m. cleaning New Hope. When I was like 15, he'd drop me off at New Hope, and I'd after a Sunday service, and I'd stack all the chairs and clean up. So
wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how you got introduced to cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Was family in the business.
Yeah, my mom had some house cleaning accounts. My brother had the janitorial and the pressure cleaning, so I did jobs with him, and I think he I just saw how he could do it. I'm like, man, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Like, and he just encouraged me with that. So, this is a hair. What is this? Something was hanging here.
Yeah, might have been a hair.
No, you're good. So yeah, he just introduced me to that, and I had no idea what I was getting into.
Yeah.
And like doing something at his level was super easy, but I wanted to keep on growing and growing. I'm so glad I didn't know all the the pain of struggle, like to grow, because I may not have done it. But
oh yeah, that's what I really want to talk to you about that part later on for sure,
Mm-hmm.
about the struggle of it and your experience with that.
Yeah, I just saw him run this ragtag little business and support his family, and I thought, oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
You know, I had no idea all of the work behind it, but it's definitely a rewarding thing, and I'm super grateful I did it.
So your experience working for someone else was primarily for a family member, or did you ever go out and you worked for someone that wasn't like in a business 9 to 5 for someone else?
I don't think I ever had a legitimate,
Like on the books deal?
well, I had a couple,
Yeah.
but I was young. I started my own business when I was 16, so they were really like, it was people willing to hire someone that was, the taekwondo, I got paid to do that
Okay.
from like 14 to 18 or so, 14 to 17. So I was being paid something.
Yeah.
It wasn't a whole lot. And then I did boat detailing with a guy, but he paid me cash.
Yeah.
And there was a couple guys in Palm City Farms. I managed their property, just like little things they would have on the few hours. I would just maximize any time I had a chance to work, I'd work.
For
Or
sure.
Saturday mornings, I would go yard sailing and I'd be looking for silver and gold. If it was the day I could work doing pressure cleaning, I would do that. I would teach taekwondo, clean the church. And then eventually as my business grew, I had to start letting things go. So I let go of the boat detailing. I let go of the property maintenance stuff.
Mhm.
And then eventually it was just taekwondo and the church. And then I had to let go of the church cleaning. And then it was really hard for me to let go of taekwondo. I really
bet it
loved
was.
it, but I was getting busy and I'm like, I can't do both. I can't give up these couple hours if I want to have a family and buy a house. There's just not enough money yet.
No.
I think it was like $18 an hour or something like
Yeah.
that. I'm like, this is not a livable wage for.
No.
And then right in the middle of the day, so I'm not even getting a full 40 hours with it. So I'm like, this is
For sure.
Mm-mm.
What was
But I miss it.
what was the name of your business that you started?
Originally, I didn't know anything about it when I started. I was just trying to go OCD pressure cleaning, and I didn't know the difference between a doing business as like a LLC and a DBA or a sole proprietorship. And so they told me I needed my name in it. I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of a weird sounding name, but Nathan Todd's OCD Cleaning. And I didn't understand how easy it was to start a DBA or do anything like that.
What is a DBA?
Oh, a DBA
Or
is
doing business
sorry.
as?
Yeah. Let's start an LLC and then have a fictitious name. I went to the tax office and they start blabbing, using these words that I had never heard of. And I'm like, what's the easiest way where I can get a name today? They're like, well, if you put your name on it. I'm like, great. So I thought it sounded tacky, but I was like, it's okay. It'll work.
Really? So the whole starting the business process, the legality of it, it was challenging?
It's so obvious and easy now, but
Yeah.
I just didn't have someone that taught me how. Like Kendall taught me some pretty basic things with
That's
the
your brother?
business. Yeah, but I didn't really, there wasn't a million TikTok channels telling you how to do everything. There wasn't a million YouTubers and all these people. It was just, I just figured it out and I walked in there. I'm like, I think this is where you go. And so I wanted to just deal with it right then and there. So I did.
Wow. No way.
It's very easy.
'Cause, yeah,
to fill
I
out
mean,
a DBA.
The LLC too is not super complicated, right?
No, it's not. The issue was that I didn't understand why they had so many spots to fill out that you just leave blank. And I found that with any government form that I filled out, even in government contracts and with other licenses, there's just a lot of, they make a form and it's to fit this, all these people need to be able to fill this form out, and most of them just don't apply to you, or you're just repeating the same information over and over, and it just felt weird.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't know. So I just found out what way I could get done right then and
Yeah.
there.
So you did a DBA, doing business as.
No, I didn't. That's why I had sole proprietorship.
Oh,
it just had
okay.
my name involved in it. That way I could do it right then and there, and I didn't have to
deal with all that.
I didn't know how.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I had a debit card at that point. So,
So what did you get for equipment wise? What did you have to buy? What did you have?
just a little 13 horsepower machine, and I had
Little pressure cleaner.
little beat up truck, and like 50 feet of hose and a wand. And I just started knocking on doors. The first job was right down the road from here, actually. I probably knocked on the owner of this home as well. This is one of them. I knocked on doors for 3 hours before I got my first job.
Did you really?
3 hours, and the first job was $125, $145. It took me like an hour and a half, and once I did that first little patio and driveway off of Kingsley, I was like, just started doing math, and I'm like, this is this many classes that I would teach Taekwondo. This is this many times cleaning the church. And I just like did the math. I was just like, whoa, I could just knock on doors all day at this rate and make way more money. If this is where all my leads came in forever, even though that's not how, like knowing that I would figure out how to get leads, but I'm like, even at the worst, this is still better.
For sure.
So it kind of, once I saw that, it was over. I was like, okay, I can't go back from here.
It kind of opens your eyes on what you actually can make.
Because I had seen my brother doing jobs, and he was open and on it, like open to me, like, oh, we did this, this roof, we charged this much, it cost this much. And so I'd already seen the numbers, but it just didn't fully resonate with me until I had actually done one and gotten paid, and like got this. It was like, whoa, it just hit me differently.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Was it awkward knocking on doors?
Yeah.
It seems horribly awkward.
Horrible, dude. You're just like, hey, I'm just started a pressure cleaning business. I'd like to see if you need any work done.
Did you get any boom? They shut the door.
Oh yeah, usually yelling at you. You woke up a baby. You did this. I was like, I don't care. I just need work. I don't really care. Most people, I was young, and so they just were like, oh, I'm happy that I'm proud of you for doing something. And so that was the first thing I did. Was I knocked on doors, and then I decided that I was going to do it, and then I posted on Facebook, and then a friend of mine said that if you have your own business, you need to let everyone know that you do it. They should know you for that, because you're instantly, those are your, and that helped me a lot too. My network of people that I already knew referred me to a bunch of jobs. I got a lot of Jupiter Island jobs because I just knew someone from church that was a property manager, or I knew somebody who knew a property manager, or this police officer that I knew. So that helped a lot too. And then I eventually bought the accounts my brother had. He didn't have anything crazy, but that helped me a lot as well. I was just giving him 30% of the job for 3 years. And then after that, they were mine.
Wow.
That was our agreement.
Nice. Good deal.
Yeah.
How long did it take after your first job to get steady enough work to be like, okay, I can actually rely on this business for my, I don't know, financial well-being, or at least to pay you to focus on this 100%?
Yeah, it was I think I started in June, and then in December I got my first, I got overwhelmed with work. It started out as that first job, and then before long it was, I started my website, made a GMB, and then they started trickling in. I still remember where I was, seeing that first emailed lead and just say, hey, this person inquired what your service is, wants a driveway pressure cleaned. And I remember being like, whoa, this was a lead that I didn't do anything for. I did. I made a little website, but I'm like, I didn't do anything for this. I didn't knock on doors for this.
Wow.
And then just before long, I just started seeing one a week, and then one every couple of days, and then a couple a week. And I just saw that grow and grow and grow. But I didn't really get super busy until probably January. So 6, 7 months, maybe.
What is a GMB?
Google my business page.
Okay, yeah, that's what you were on me about.
Yeah.
Which I have, but...
That's good. Have you got any reviews?
No. Need a review.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, I know that's probably important, but see...
Probably important. It's just, you should talk to my guys and ask them how many times I have barked at them for every single job, get a review every single time from every person on that job. It is one of the most important things a small local business can do.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, I was gonna ask you the website component and the Google component. It is actually an extremely important part of the business, like
Yes.
for getting work.
Yeah. Now it all depends on the industry you're in, but yeah, the vast majority. Some people, they don't need it. They have a connection and they have all the work that they need coming in, and that's wonderful. They were in an industry and they stepped out. Like I know people like that. They're like, why would I even want any more work? Right? They bought a business that was just never had we've never had a website. We've never had a T-shirt with it. I'm like, that's just stupid. Good job. Like, like it's great. Like it works for some people. And if you don't truly want to grow, but you don't market, well, you market all the time, but you don't, it's foolish to wait until you need it to start it, because it takes a while. You're not just, you know, you're building something. It's not just like, oh, you flip a switch and all of a sudden there's water coming out of it.
Yeah.
No, you're building something there, and it's not just going to come right away. So whether you need it or not, you need to start working on it now so that when you do need it, it's there. And there's just some things that time is a big part of your SEO. Like that's a big thing that helps make your website better. And so, and you can't just get 100 reviews overnight. If you had 100 people leave you a 5-star review, 95 of them would be taken off by Google the next day because it's suspicious.
Yeah.
You know, they want you to trickle them in. And so there's just some things that you can't just do all at once, and you can't expect it to just to be there ready for you. That's why you start now.
That's like, it's like an investment mindset kind of.
Yeah,
You slowly are chipping away at
you're
it.
planting trees.
Yeah.
You know that you're not going to get, I planted a bunch of trees the other day. I've got 12 trees just planted. I'm not going to get, I've spent like $2,500 on these trees. They're not going to pay for themselves for 7 years. I did the math on it. Like, how much am I going to actually eat? Because they're going to produce a lot. But you got to snip the fruit off for the first 3 years to put back into that, so that the growth can actually go to the tree. Like, I can't actually enjoy fruit, even though they're
What tree is it?
I've got a bunch of trees, mangoes, avocados, but
okay.
like, so if you graft a tree, they'll give you fruit right away, but you actually aren't supposed to take the fruit for the first few years, because it uses all its energy on this fruit when it should be growing. And the limbs can't even support it, especially like a jackfruit. These fruit get the size of your head.
Giants, yeah.
Like, you'll break the branches.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting. I look at that, like I look at my business, like you're not really getting much for the first few years. You're just putting everything back into it to grow it, to grow it, to grow it. And eventually 5-6 years down the road, then you see the reward. And sometimes you see rewards sooner, but you can't just be motivated by the short term. You have to be motivated by the long term.
No, amazing.
So
how do you know how much to take out and pay yourself and how much to put back in the business? I know it depends on the person and the situation. Obviously, it seems to me the answer is the more I'm putting back into my business is going to benefit the business better. But what like percentages, what kind of ratio? I mean, is it just different every single time?
it's different because some people, they think that they're investing back in their business, but what they're really doing is just throwing money at things, hoping that something works. So you can't just take all your profit and just throw it at things and just hope it works. You have to still be involved. That's one thing that I had to learn the hard way. Was I like trying things. I like to try a bunch of things. I've tried all sorts of things and know a lot of things that don't work, but I should have been more involved in the process and not just trusted people. Like, you have to understand why what they're saying is going to work and why it's not going to work, especially with marketing. I mean, these people, their job is to sell people and sell products, so they try to sell themselves the same way, even if they don't. I can't even tell you how many different ways that I've wasted money on some idiot's marketing campaign that didn't work. Probably could tell you. There's probably 10 to 20, but I don't even remember all the individual ones. But I'm willing to try things, but you got to be. I've just learned to be better and more picky about that. You know. So yeah, it does. I do believe in investing back in your business, whether that's in equipment, but you just have to think it through. So you have to think about how much you can afford to lose, how much risk you are willing to take on, and then what's the potential reward for it. So you can't just throw money willy-nilly. You have to actually stop and consider the cost, consider what the potential investment is. But if you're just trying to be lazy and just throw money away to hope that it fixes it, then that's the wrong attitude.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I invested a lot. That's why I believe in starting young, because you don't have all of the expenses. I didn't have a family at 16, so I didn't care. I was able to live bare bones and put as much back into it as I could, because all I had was school. And even at that, I was doing dual enrollment. So you really don't have as much. The college classes, you get out sooner. That's why I did it. So I could go to school half as much and then I could work more.
Yeah.
So, and I just put as much back into it as I could.
So what were some of the things that you had to buy in the pressure cleaning that you invested in that really made a world of difference for you in the business?
Obviously better equipment. So when you invest in better equipment, better machines, you start buying back your time. So at first you just need to be able to do the job. I didn't have enough work for that extra 30 minutes, 45 minutes that I was going to save by this other machine per job. It didn't matter. I just needed something that would work. I didn't have the money to buy the top of the line stuff. I see some people starting a business and they just want to have the top of the line stuff. They don't even know if it's going to be successful. They don't know if they're going to have the margins. They don't know any of that. And they're just dumping money in things that they shouldn't be dumping money into. Again, it all depends on your scenario. But if it's your first business,
You need to get by
you need to just
and do the job correctly
be
and
thoughtful about how you enter it.
not be in debt.
Like people put themselves in the hole thinking it's okay, I'm going to make it all back one day with this like wishful thinking when they've done no market research or they don't even know how to do market research. They don't know if there's a demand for that in the area. They don't know how saturated it is. They don't know what the actual going rates for things are. I just recently I sold something. I was wanting to go into another field that's somewhat similarly rated, like similar to my industry.
Yeah, it's comparable.
I bought a vac trailer, spent $13,500 on it. It was a great deal at the time. That thing sat in my yard for the last year, and I just sold it for $5,000.
Oh, man.
I lost $8,500.
Oh, man.
The day after I bought it, I had 2 opportunities to pay for it. 2. It would have paid for it right then and there, the whole thing. But it wasn't working quite right. And then it kind of became a project that I kept putting on the back burner, kept putting on the back burner. And then you know what? I didn't really have time for that little little side quest. And I kept pretending that I was going to do something with it. And the longer I waited, the worse it got. And I finally just grew to despise it.
Yeah.
And I had an opportunity to sell it without having to put it on a marketplace. And I just took it. So that's an example of, I should invest in my business and try different things. But there's an example of how I lost $8,500 because I was, and again, I don't totally regret it because I learned a lot with it, and that machine really needed a lot of work. I think you can either, the more research you go into something, the less money you're going to blow on it. If you are just have an itchy trigger finger,
sign on the dotted line.
Yeah. And I mean, you should definitely be willing to make decisions quick. I believe in making quick decisions, and it's okay if you lose some. I'm a big believer in being able to act quick, but sometimes I just don't want to think.
Yeah.
And that bites me in the butt. You have to be able to think and reason through it and know how to research, even if it's just a couple hours. I didn't think enough about it. So, anyways.
So what were what was one instance in your early years that it was just dude, this was a mistake? Something that happened where, dude, this is trash.
Most of those revolved around vehicle purchases.
Oh, really?
The next vehicle. And there were some things that I thought was going to work, but I just really had no way of knowing until I got into the situation. One thing I tried to do was buy an irrigation company. So I wasn't satisfied with where I was. I spent a lot of time. I went from the cleaning business, and then I got into pool fencing with a mutual friend of ours. I did the Palm Beach County area for this company, this brand. They don't really have franchises. I was an independent contractor that sold their fence. It was really cool. It wasn't a franchise, but they did a lot of work for you because they wanted you to succeed, because the more you were successful, the more they were successful because you bought more of their fencing. So it was a really cool experience working with them. But I just bounced through. I just kept not being satisfied with what I was doing and kept looking for the better thing. And I wasted a lot of time with the irrigation thing and then with the pool fencing, where if I had just really, I feel like if I had thought through it a little bit more, I probably wouldn't have went and talked to enough people in irrigation that were older and wiser. I probably wouldn't have wasted 6 months in irrigation. I think had I talked enough, and I had some wise people give me instruction on the pool fencing, and had I really listened to them, I would have realized that it wasn't for me. But I did it anyways because I thought, yeah, that's what they said, but I think it'll fit me anyways. And
Yeah, I typically learn the hard way myself.
Yeah, and it's okay. I don't really regret those because it taught me a lot, and it really set me up for my restoration construction business that I have now. So I love what I do now, and I don't think I would have known. Who knows if I would have done it? But it was just I've wasted a lot of time and money on just being what's the word?
Jack of all trades?
No, not that. Not
Kind of like
that.
searching for the next thing.
Yeah, there we go. Looking for white whales. Looking
Yeah.
for the thing that was going to make me happy. I should have just been working on what I was doing and not been so
Worried about expansion or diversification.
I'm ungrateful.
Yeah.
Just ungrateful with the opportunities in front of me.
Yeah.
Had I actually gone into one of these other businesses full time, I spent 6 months shadowing this guy a couple days a week with the irrigation, and I just realized that his numbers were wrong. He just like told me his numbers ahead of time. Like, yeah, that sounds right. He says he's making this much money. That sounds like enough to get by. I can grow it. He's old and slow, and that whole thing just was a nightmare. He was just not. I think he wasn't trying to mislead me, but he misled himself on what he was making, what he was. And the pool fencing was great. Again, it was a really cool business, and I really, really like it, but it's just not for me. It's not for my type of personality. And I've recommended several friends to do it, and one of them did it, and it's perfect for him, but it's not for me. So had I known how to try to do it now, I could do it successfully fine. But at the time, I just didn't know enough.
No, I understand.
And I wasn't doing the area a service, so I backed out of it because it wasn't worth it for either one of us. So,
well, how did you turn pressure cleaning into
the hazmat?
Yes. So give me the transition, your story from your pressure cleaning business into hazmat and bio. How did that transition look, and how did you do that?
So, I know I just said that the like unhappiness sort of was a bad thing at sometimes. I like being uncontent.
Sometimes it's a good thing, though.
It can be a good thing, and so this is what drove me to that. So I was always looking for the next thing or how to grow. I was not happy with my current spot. I wanted to keep growing, keep learning, and I'm very grateful I did. That put me light years ahead of. So I started. My brother had done it for 10 years, and so I took all of that information that he could teach me in a month, and I was starting this huge head start from him. And then over 7 years, I got to learn all this. I learned a lot more. I was happy. I was finally like I gone off on these little side quests with other businesses. And then I finally decided, you know what? No, I'm happy with where I'm at. This business is a great business. I've gone and explored other businesses and realized that this one is great. Yes, there's bleach. Yes, there's heights. It's not great for your lungs. It's not great for potentially falling off, but it's a good business. There are people that are very successful with it. I can do this too. So I was finally like locked in. I was, taking classes and joining these. I was doing a lot of stuff. I had just revamped a bunch of equipment. I was ready. We were growing, and then I met this guy on this job. We were never just a pressure cleaning, window cleaning company. I always did little extra things, little hoarding jobs, deep cleans, these little things that would come by. So it's pretty easy if it's priced right. Why would I not do it? And then I met this guy, and we were talking, and he had come to a home in Lost Lake. He wanted a deep clean of this house. I'm like, sure, no problem. So we met, and there was a little smell that was off in this house, and I couldn't quite put my thumb on it. And I'm standing in the living area, and I asked him, I'm like, hey John, what's that smell? He's like, oh, someone died right where you're standing. I'm like, oh, great. Took a step back. They had been mostly cleaned up, but the smell was still there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and so that's my first experience with John. I had met another hazmat guy who had actually gotten me interested in the industry like 6 months prior at a convention. But I thought to myself, there's no way I could do that. I can't even walk on a blood bus without wanting to faint. And so we did that job, knocked it out of the park. The guy paid well, paid quick. And then COVID happened a few months later. So I had no idea what that relationship was going to become. But I just knew, hey, this guy offered to pay me double what I was wanting to charge for this thing. He was very easy to work with. I will take all the work he wants to give me. I don't know if I'll take the bio yet, because he immediately saw that we did a good job. It was kind of a complicated job. The lady was a pain in the neck, and we kept coming through. And so he wanted to use us for bio jobs. I'm like, I don't know, John. I don't know if I can handle that. But you have any other work, I'll take it. And he was talking about hoarding clients. And then eventually, a couple of weeks later, I'm on vacation with my family in Georgia. And he says, hey, we got a COVID job. We've been getting these. We have a job in your area. Would you like to do it? I'm like, I don't even know how to disinfect for COVID, but sure. Why can't be that hard? I've done janitorial cleaning for a decade, so how hard could it be? And so then I'm like, what needs done and when does it need done? It's like, well, it's the Miami Heat personal gym. It's 20,000 square feet. I'm like, great. When does it need done? Is it tonight? I'm like,
You're kidding me, dude.
I'm in Georgia. That's Miami. We'll figure it out. And it was pretty embarrassing.
Was it?
We couldn't get cleaning supplies. Everything was gone off the shelves. You couldn't get Lysol. You know what we went there with? We went there with Lysol wipes.
No, you did not, dude.
It's
No,
like the
you
head
did
coach. It
not.
was some little janitor that we met. We met the head coach.
You're
It
like,
was-
show up with double fisting Lysol wipes.
literally-
What up, coach?
It was so embarrassing. But like he gave me no notice. No one knew what to do. That's why he was called. People were so scared to death of COVID. And they just started calling hazmat companies for disinfecting. And he had done a couple. He didn't tell me what to do. I was just making stuff up.
But what happened though when you got there with the wipes? Like you,
We were totally overwhelmed.
but
It was
were you cleaning the
so-
entire place?
I think within like 6 hours, the guy realized that these guys have no idea what they're doing. And so, but that
Did he
job,
kick you out?
he's just like, oh, you know what? I think we got it from here. So nicely kicked us out. But
Oh,
we
dude.
deserved it.
Yeah.
And it was that job though that taught me there is some real potential here, and we've got to figure it out. And so from then on, and I was looking into things, looking at what actually killed COVID, and we figured it out. But that job was a disaster. You know,
Dude.
I know
All night? You guys were there all night?
It's like 6 hours, but then it was the guy just realized that these guys have no idea what they're doing. We were just guessing.
But
we,
you guys
we
were-
couldn't get chemicals for it.
Yeah.
So after that, it was
You were
my
trying your
mission.
best.
I was going to find chemicals to disinfect it because I didn't know how to apply it. I'm like, do we just spray it and wipe walls? And so that's what we started doing. Because then we had Rooms to Go calling us, like the big furniture store. And we
Yeah.
started doing call centers. And so I'm like, okay, well, what do we do here? So we found these little cheap looking Ryobi foggers, which were just horrible. But it was like the only fogger that we could get. And then we finally got our hands on some chemicals, and I was just checking stores, these janitorial supply places all the time, looking, and I would just grab it anytime I could. Anytime I get a hazmat suit at Home Depot or Lowe's, I'd buy them. And I just trying to stock up on suits and gloves and everything, because we started doing these Rooms to Go's, and John wasn't the greatest communicator and wouldn't really tell me what things were being charged at. So I didn't understand like making a show, like making a presentation. I didn't understand that yet. In business. So we're doing it. We're making him happy. It was taking enough time for what he was charging. We're physically wiping all the walls. And then we get called to do a showroom in West Palm Beach, and they are considering doing every Rooms to Go in Florida every single week, which was an enormous account. That would have been probably upwards of $20 million for hazmat cleanup. And then we would have gotten half of all the ones that we had done. But I had no idea. He was just keeping me in the dark about it. And we still hadn't like quite figured out that it was a presentation. So we sent 5 people there to do it, and we got it done very quickly. And they were pissed. I to this day don't know what he charged for that, because he's dead. He killed himself.
Oh
He
gosh.
overdosed because he couldn't handle it.
The John?
Mm-hmm. He killed him like a few years ago.
Oh.
He died in a hotel. It was really sad, but
OD'd.
we'll get to that later.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
so I'll never know what he charged. He probably put some ungodly number, and so they had this expectation, and he didn't relay that to me. And at this point, I didn't realize that. I'm like, oh, we're doing the job. They probably charge a couple grand. I'm getting paid $1,200, so I mean, it can't be too crazy. 5 people there for 3 hours.
Really?
Had I like known what I know now, I would have put 5 people there, and I would have said, you have to be there all day long. I would have been like, you cannot leave, or for at least like 5-6 hours. I would have made it into a show. That's what they wanted to see. But I didn't know that then.
Specifically for COVID, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're trying to show, like, it was a stupid, easy thing to do, but like people wanted a show. They wanted a performance, so they could say to their clients, "This is what we do. We do this whole thing.
We're clean.
Yeah,
Blah, blah,
you
blah.
know." I didn't know at the time. I would have brought in air scrubbers, and one tool we found out later on. We got better sprayers. It just took us a while. But that job, thankfully, set us up for True Leave. True Leave was a medical marijuana dispensary, and we started with 30 stores, and we got up to about 120 stores, 140.
Dude.
145 every week. And then every time a store got someone had COVID that walked in there, they found out about, whether a staff member, we had to go to that store that night as well. So we would do on average 50, 60 stores. And then every week, sometimes, and then we do 5 to 10 last minute ones. So I had to have the people for it grew. So it started with 30 and we ended up with 140 and we did about 70% of them. And so and then every week we'd have 10, 20 of them that were just like last minute. You had to just send someone out there. Sometimes it'd be only a few. Other times it was like our schedule for our last minute ones was busier than our regular maintenance ones. So, I mean, this was like Key West to Pensacola. So that was tough to manage.
You were incredibly busy.
Yeah, we were busy. We had like 12 people at the max just running through, just doing these last minute true leaves and also doing the maintenance ones. So it was pretty cool. But like the mistakes we made at the Miami Heat Stadium and the rooms to go set us up for that.
For sure.
And then we started doing Pepsis and core physical therapies and a bunch of others, and that really worked out. And by that point I realized, okay, I like figured it out. We got really good sprayers. We eventually actually went to the Home Depot paint sprayers and got like a cabinet finish tip, and that made it look like you were in a cloud.
Fogged out.
It fogged it out. Everything got wet. So we figured it out eventually, but it just took us a little bit of trial and error because there was no book on it. There was no. You're just guessing at the end of the day, and I just didn't have experience in that field, so I made some expensive mistakes.
Yeah, but part of business is, like you said, thinking on the fly, making quick decisions.
Yeah, and I had people making fun of me. They're like, "Oh, another business," and I'm like, "Yep, it sounds like a great opportunity. I'm gonna do it," and it turned out to be great.
Absolutely.
And so then at some point I realized it was like literally the week I met John at that first job, I like told myself, you know what? I'm happy here. I've got one helper that's a solid guy, training another one. I've got my 2 rigs. I'm like, I'm happy here and I'm content. I'm just going to do this. And then I met John, and then 2 weeks later, it was like, as soon as I get like content,
the next thing comes along.
Well, it was like, I feel like it was good. It was like, I was content. And then an opportunity came after that. So I felt like it was good timing.
Yes.
I needed to be at peace before I found that.
Yeah.
And so,
and all that came from one relationship.
One relationship was huge. So,
but how did all of the other stuff like the True Leaves, John was giving you these jobs?
Yeah, I was a sub. I didn't have the SEO for that. He was, this is all coming through his website and because he was a hazmat company. So people were calling hazmat companies.
And he's subbing it to you.
He's subbing it to me. So I'm making half of the money on these jobs. And then I realized at one point, there was such an urgency to when someone got COVID in their store, because no one wanted to go in there because they were scared they were going to die.
For sure.
Or like no one would want to come in. So they would need someone out there ASAP. So I need to be on my phone 24/7. At any point I had to be willing and able to like answer the phone. And I was good at that already, but with my pressure cleaning business, I was still on the truck. And so I couldn't hear the phone, and I almost lost the True Leave account because I couldn't answer the phone. I just was on Jupiter Island, no service, and the job paid well. It was like $2,500 in like 6 hours. It was a great job. But I remember at the end of that being reamed out by his employee, Jessica, that like, I'm like, this is not worth it. I'm making more in a week than I'm making in 2 months at this thing. Why would I like risk? And so I didn't know how long COVID was going to last for, but I was like, you know what? If it lasts for 6 months, I'll have enough money to just buy another business or figure something out. And so then it lasted for 2.5 years. So it was great.
Wow, it lasted that long for you guys?
Total. Then True Leave like kind of was done. They stopped doing the maintenance, and then they stopped doing just doing it occasionally, and then they finally like figured it out themselves and had their own in-house thing.
Cleaning.
Yeah, they had their own in-house like program they put their guys through, but it just took them a while to figure that out. But it was super simple. It was by far the easiest money I'm ever going to make in my life.
For sure. For sure.
And
well,
so
it was life-changing.
It was pretty wild, yeah. It allowed
amazing.
me to invest in real estate. It allowed me to, because that was a dream of mine. And it allowed me to, it was pretty cool. So I stepped away from the pressure cleaning, gave it to a friend of mine, which was pretty scary because I'd spent 7 years building this thing up, and we were doing pretty good numbers with it. And then I just passed it on, and that year we did 10 times the amount with True Leave. So I'm like, well, with all
it was a good move.
It was a good move.
Yeah.
And
he
then,
almost lost it on Jupiter Island.
almost lost
And
it.
that's when you decided,
That's
all
when I
right,
decided it's got to go. And so then I went over, and then eventually I was like, well, eventually these accounts are going to stop. So what am I going to do next? I liked working with John, even though he was a little bit crazy. And I thought, well, I might as well do what he's doing. So I started doing hazmat. I'm like, let me try and see if I can do it. And I'll just do the hoarding hazmat. I'd already looked into a mold business as well, but I didn't. The guy that I was going to buy it from was just dreaming. He thought his business was worth a whole lot more than it was, and I wasted a lot of time and effort like pursuing this thing. And then when I finally like heard the numbers and heard what was going on, I was like, this isn't worth anything. You've not done a job in 2 years, and you got $400,000 for this business.
yeah, it's insane.
All you're owed a lot of money, and that's it. He's like, oh, but I have connections. I know how to do it. I'm like, great. What's that mean?
Yeah.
Nothing. Like I can go and like I'm not giving you $400,000 for nothing. He had no and so I'd already learned a little bit about molds. I'm like, okay, I'll start with the bio and the hoarder and the hazmat, and then I'll go into the firewater mold, and that's what I did eventually. I also got into the hazardous waste as well. But yeah, I just started with him, and then it took me a little. I'm grateful I started before I needed to. This goes back to the marketing thing. You market when you don't need it. So we started investing heavily into my website and into other things, and then maybe not even enough. I should have probably done more when I had the extra. And
tell me some ways about investing in your website that are important ways to invest in it.
There's just a lot of long-term things. And the hard part, I didn't really know what to look for in an SEO guy. I bounced around between a few different SEO guys, and then
What is an SEO? Dumb question.
Search engine optimization. So someone that knows how to like actually build the internal, like what Google is looking for. When someone types in hazmat cleaning company near me, the person that knows how to make Google realize that you're the right person, the person that's going to build your site and make it fast, the person that's going to, I didn't know all that. I was building on Wix, which is just a website builder. I don't know how to code. Now they're on WordPress.
Is it important though? Like what you're saying though, is it is important to get somebody who knows what they're doing with that SEO.
It's very important because you got a bunch of idiots out there that know like a tiny little bit of information, and there's people like us that have no idea what we're looking at or doing, and we just hear it and we're like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I would love that. That would be great. And we just take them at their word like a couple of chumps.
Yeah.
Because we're just
I've been there.
We're just hoping. We're like, I wouldn't lie if if I said that, I would mean it. But these guys are idiots. They don't know what they're doing. They're just wasting your money. So I had a number of those guys that just wasted a ton of time.
Dude.
They did something, but overall, just a terrible waste of money.
How did you run into the good guy?
Through a connection. So I met a guy that was pretty good. I really like him. Unfortunately, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be using him because I think we've outgrown him a little bit at his pace. But yeah, so the guy that I think now that I'm going to go to, and I haven't told him yet. I'm going to tell him soon. But I don't think there's any way he can listen. I mean, he might hear this, and I'm sorry if you do. This is the way you find out.
Sorry, brother.
Sorry.
Hate to break it to you right now, bro.
Yeah, it's not the way I wanted to do it. He's been great. So to be fair, this guy is super honest and super nice.
Maybe I'll hit him up.
He might actually be good for you, for your size business. Yeah, but eventually you want to...
little business.
Yeah, eventually you might want to move on and do... I just don't think he has the capability to do what I need.
Dude, you're on another scale though, bro. Especially now. Which we'll get into that.
Yeah, I've got a guy that is way, way smarter than me that helped me make a different connection. Like, he's my advisor, and he's the one that connected me with this other guy that we were literally talking about at our last weekly meeting, and I'm super excited about this new...
Cool, man.
New guy, yeah.
So it's just important with the SEOs. It's important with getting your website right. That's something you definitely highly recommend.
Yeah, I do. But you got to do research, and you have to like understand it at least on a surface level, and then you have to really look at what they've done. Like, talk to the people that they've done work for and find out, are these businesses like-minded enough where if they did this for him, what can they do for me? Is it actually him that's doing the work, or is it because there's no competition in the area? I have a pretty competitive industry. And then also SEO is changing a lot with all the AI stuff. Like, how can this guy keep up with that? Yeah. My guy's kind of old school, and I just don't know if he's going to keep up quite as much. He's trying to, but not at the pace that I want. I think he just can't. And again, I really like him, and I really trust him that he's trying to do the best thing for me. I just don't think that at the moment he has the ability to do what I need him to do.
No, roger that.
So-
But I know. I want to go back to your hazmat experience though initially. So one thing I want to know is about your hazmat deal, what your experience was like. But I wanted to ask what prompted John to start his business. Do you know his story, how he got into hazmat or no?
Yeah, he's a crazy guy. He did a lot of drugs. He started the hazmat because he was doing funeral home transportation.
Oh
so
my
he's
gosh.
working at a morgue doing the mortuary transport, and then eventually he just started a hazmat company. Never did a tremendous amount. It's really sad. He was a really nice guy, but he just got
Dang, bro.
he got he was kind of an obsessive person, and so
Okay.
drugs just wrecked him.
Yeah.
At multiple spans of his life for just extended periods of time. It was really sad.
Jeez.
He was such a generous, kind person.
Sounds like it.
But then the drugs just really screwed him up. Alcohol really screwed him up, and
It'll get you down.
yeah, it will. And so he's got a really addictive personality, gambling, and it was
Yeah.
really sad to see it. But he was doing pretty good, and then the Bible talks about like money gained hastily, and
It can be a very bad thing.
it was
Yeah.
not good for him.
I think
Getting that much money that quickly, that easily, just ruined him.
I mean, for most people, bro, it's probably not a good thing.
Money can make you more of who you are.
That's a famous Henry Ford quote.
Really?
He said,
That's where I
"Money,
got it from.
money merely unmasks the man."
Yeah.
He's like, if you're greedy, poor, you're going to be greedy, rich. If you're
Yeah.
generous, poor, you're going to be generous as a rich man.
People expect
Typically.
it to, they fix their problems.
It
and
unmasks you.
It doesn't. More money, more
No.
problems.
Dude, that's the truth.
So
That's
you
the
think you
truth.
at some point you think, oh, this is going to fix me. And then now you're worried about liability. Now you're worried about getting sued. When you're poor, you didn't care. You're like,
Nah.
yeah, I'll drive around with no insurance for a day or two.
Like, what are they going to
Oh,
take
what are
from
they
me?
gonna take? Yeah, I got nothing. I
No,
don't
for-
recommend that at all.
Yeah,
But,
not advised.
But I have friends that they just like, I can't afford it. I'm not going to pay. I'm like, it's terrible. But
been there, bro.
One out of 7 drivers in Florida are uninsured, and it blows my mind. 1 out of 7.
Jeez.
And then on the flip side, then now you're worried about getting sued, and
Yeah.
litigious lawyers and people like
Yeah.
looking for a bailout.
More money, more problem.
Yeah,
That's the
so-
truth.
Yeah, that was interesting, and unfortunately, it really messed
Yeah.
John up,
So-
which is sad.
So what was your first experience with hazmat? You take your first hazmat job. Were you like, oh, this is pretty easy. This wasn't too bad. Or did you have the experience like, whoa,
No,
this
the
is
first one was a
different?
joke. The first one was a joke. I was like,
Was it?
blown away? I'm like, wow, this is it. This is, I was like talking to him. I was nervous about it for
What was
weeks.
it?
I'm like, John, just give me an easy one at first. Give me and give me like a 3 out of 5. This thing was like a 2. It was a joke. It was
What
like,
was it? What'd you guys do?
lady passed away in the ground, LVP floors, and there was a small like outline of her body.
LVP, laminate.
Luxury vinyl plank.
Okay,
What you got here?
Okay.
So, and it's a small little outline. I mean, it took us all of 30 minutes. Family was actually mad because John was kind of greedy. He was generous in some ways, but he like asked for a lot of
Yeah.
money for it, and it should not have been priced so high. The family was mad.
At you.
When we finished, I was the guy that you could see, so I was the
You
one
got
that
the
you'd be
brunt
mad
of it.
at. I'm like, John, what did you charge for this? I was like trying to prolong it to put on a show, but I'm like, I can't do anything else. Like we did everything, and then they
Jeez.
were not happy. But I don't blame him. He charged too much for it.
So what are
but-
some of the things you do to clean though? Like what you're bleaching, you're using all kinds of chemicals.
No bleach. The industry standard is a tuberculocidal chemical. That is what will actually kill the things you're worried about.
Okay.
So you're worried, like things are biomedical waste, so blood. That's what you're worried about. You're worried about things in people's blood, AIDS, hepatitis, HIV, like that. That's what you're worried about, is bloodborne illnesses. And so the industry standard is a tuberculocidal chemical.
Okay.
And so there's a bunch of them that do it. And so we also use hydrogen peroxide, like strong hydrogen peroxides to help like show where things are. Like you spray it out, and that will like it'll start to like 12, 15%, turn your skin white.
Yeah,
you
that
know?
stuff.
That'll, if you spray it in an area, all like bodily fluids will like start foaming up, and you'll know if all the stuff is out of the grout. You'll know if you need to remove that tile. You'll know if it's, and it really helps you detect. Like you won't see anything. You spray it, like, oh shoot, that whole area of carpet's foaming up. Yeah, it needs to go.
Oh,
and
it's
so,
a good indicator.
Yeah, and so and it's not just on that scene. It's from where they passed away, clear to the front door, because the MEs or the medical transporters, not the ME, the transport company the ME hires, they move the body, and oftentimes a hand smacks against a wall, or like something drips down because it might be a 20-day unattended, and so they're kind of melted a little bit, or someone like steps in it accidentally. Like, they don't mean to, they're not thinking about it, but you can carry stuff like 75 feet away. The average stride is like 2.5 feet. If you step through a pile of mud, you're gonna keep that mud on your feet for 30 steps.
Dude,
You're roughly like 75 feet away, so you could step in something here, and as they're checking the whole house, they're doing a wellness check. The cop shows up, busts the door down. They're worried about dogs, all kinds. They're smelling that smell. Is someone still here? They're looking for all kinds of stuff. And so there's all these ways that the bio gets spread. It gets spread through off-gassing. If there was a dog or a cat there, then they were involved with the body and they're spreading it. And so that's why you use hydrogen peroxide. It like will show you other areas where it could have spread.
wow.
And so bugs get involved and spread it all over the place.
So
you need something that will like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, it's an indicator.
And a black light really shows too much stuff. You're like, oh, use a black light. That's great. If you want to see everything just turn white,
Yeah.
So it really doesn't help you that much.
No, I gotcha.
It can help sometimes, but
Do you
like,
guys still use it sometimes or no?
yeah, for
You
like
do?
urine jobs, like cat, dog urine jobs. If we're not really sure where the smell is coming from, we'll see like a puddle shape. So it does help, but it's not like as effective as some people think. But yeah, anyways, back to how we got into bio cleanup. The first one was super easy. I'm like, well, that was a joke. And so the second one comes along, and that one was pretty bad. The guy was a heavy drinker. He liked rum and Coke. It was very evident because there were hundreds of rum and Coke bottles filled up with urine.
Jack Daniel's stash.
Yeah, brother. So he passed away on the couch, big L shape, super heavy. He was a big boy. It spread like 10 feet over. And there was, the whole ground was up to your waist in rum and Coke bottles. Nah, maybe like thigh.
You're kidding me.
Rum and Coke bottles. You're like
Dude.
wading through like the ocean, like to get out to the wave. You're wading through rum and Coke bottles filled with urine. That's what you're wading through
You're
to get to the
kidding me.
couch. And yeah, it was just high enough where the TV was, like you could see the TV. So, well, this is
Dude,
dying.
that is like,
Yeah,
that's an
he
unreal
wanted to-
amount
he
of rum
wanted
and
to
Coke.
see TV so he could play his video games and stuff like that. It was really sad, but
Oh, dude,
yeah,
that's honestly though
it's
so
pretty horrible.
sad.
It's a horrible way to go. But that was our first real bio job. Was he was on the couch. He passed away.
That is doing it.
Dude, it's so sad. It's sad that like you think about
Golly,
like
bro.
not everyone that dies needs a hazmat company,
Yeah.
but the people that do, no one was there when they died. No one knew for weeks when he died.
I know it's tragic.
That's the hard part about it is you start thinking about like, we're cleaning up after suicides, we're cleaning up after murders, we're cleaning up after just unattended deaths. They were gone for a month and no one knew.
Is that a lot of your stuff?
Most of it's thankfully within like 3 to 5 days, and that's understandable. A dad goes on vacation down to Florida, fishing in his little Florida home. He has an accident, or it's the widow, it's a grandpa, and his wife passed away, and people just lose touch. And so like most of it is within a week, thankfully. But when you have people finding out because they've smelled it from outside,
It's
that's
bad.
2 to 4 weeks before the neighbor can smell it. If it's in a condo, you're looking at like 2 weeks, and then the neighbors can smell it. Sometimes a male person will like see mail stacking up, or
They call the police.
The lawn guy will like see stuff stacking up or not see a car move. That's usually, or a window will be, something will be left open, or yeah, someone, usually it's like a worker that like finds it, that or a neighbor when it starts stinking, or a family member like won't be able to get a hold of somebody.
Was it hard at first to see that stuff? Because I feel like that would kind of mess with me.
It can be hard. It can be hard. And if there was no, I think if I had no hope after death, then I would still be pretty traumatized.
For sure.
But you really you get constantly reminded of your finite nature.
Mm-hmm.
You get reminded that like this earth is temporary and what you do on this earth matters. And so it would really bother me if I didn't believe in Jesus. If I didn't believe that I had somewhere to go when I died.
I know.
If I didn't believe that this was a really cool ministry, a way that you can reach out to people, because you see people grieving constantly. I'm just being inundated with people that are just grieving. They lost a loved one. They lost an estranged dad. They lost a mom, a brother, a cousin, whatever it is. And we get to speak truth and encouragement and pray for them, and we get to do that. And sometimes they're more receptive than other times. I've definitely asked to pray for people, and they've said no. Most people will accept it happily, and you can typically feel it out. By how grief stricken they are. Some people just like don't care. They're almost excited that person passed away.
Jeez.
And that messes me up more than anything else.
Yeah.
When it's like, oh, we just want to clean up so we can go through the stuff.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, a little on the nose. Like they're just they've been waiting for this guy to die, and it's like that's the saddest.
I know.
Because at least the ones where someone passed away that like when they miss them, at least now they usually that has a way of like breaking down barriers, and it's like a little too late, a little too late. But at least, and they may not necessarily have total peace about it, but it's an opportunity for God to move in them and to show them things and to grow them. So if they choose to use it for good, and I just encourage people that I've also been through some loss, and that it can be used for good. We've been through a few. My sister was one. She was murdered a few years ago, and being able to find peace with that, forgiveness, that helped me a lot. Like in this industry, this is before I got into this industry.
Oh, it was before.
Some people are like, oh, did you do it because of that? I'm like, no, I didn't do it because of it. I didn't even realize. I got into hazmat cleaning mainly because of the deals on real estate I thought I was going to get. Like, to be honest, that was why I thought I can get some good deals on real estate through this. Like, there'll be some hoarding homes, and I'll be the first one. I'm not going to lowball people. I'm just going to ask what they want for it. If it's a fair price I can make money on, then great. I'll buy it, fix it, flip it. That was my goal. I'm like, I'll figure out the blood. I've only bought a couple of them. I've referred a number of them out, but it turns out that I'm very grateful for the ability to minister to my clients now. So like that wasn't even on my mind when I started, but now it's something I get to do on almost a weekly basis. I end up talking with a client and or my manager Dan. He's great about it. Just pointing it back to Jesus and just being a witness to them. When I was young, I thought I was supposed to be a pastor. I was actually conflicted with being self-employed because I thought I'm supposed to be a pastor. And it's like, well, like I'll get there. But for now I'm starting this and then I'll be a house church pastor. I thought that's what I was called to. I felt called to ministry. And then I realized that ministry is not just preaching. Ministry is everything that we do. Everyone is called to ministry. We are all called to be ministers to our family and to our employees and coworkers and bosses. And that kind of changed my perspective. I'm like, no, I am supposed to be self-employed. I have a knack for this. And what an awesome industry to do that in. Just being in Florida and being a fair, honest company is a ministry in and of itself.
Yes, it is.
There are so many hacks, so many fly-by-night people that want to take advantage of grandma that's just trusting down the road. And if you can stand up for people and you can just
be honest.
When you get screwed because you overpromised and you didn't realize how hard it was going to be, tough luck.
Yeah.
Like you just get screwed.
Yeah.
When someone takes advantage of your goodwill, tough luck. It just is what it is. So
no, for sure.
Yeah, just that alone is a ministry. And then getting to pay employees a livable wage is a ministry. And then I have a really cool industry where there's a lot of grief. There's a lot of terrible things that happen to my clients, whether it be a tornado rips through their home or whether it be a water leak, or there's plenty of instances where this is a really challenging time and we get to bring in and bring them peace, restore it like it was before, like it never happened. That's just an awesome industry to be in.
What an amazing mindset to have, though.
Yeah, and then we get to pray with them if they're receptive to it, and some people aren't our clients. Sometimes we get to refer them to other people because we realize that we're just not a good fit, because we're just too much, because our daily operating cost is too much. And I still get to pray with them. Then I get to pass them on to a smaller company that would be a better fit for them. And that like blows them away. Wow, you're willing to like turn stuff away and point me in a different direction instead of just, hoping that they call Aftermath and Bio One and get quotes twice as high, then come crawling back to me. Yeah. No, I can cut all that out. Here's the company you call. If I'm not a good fit for you, I will find the right one for you. I want to, or sometimes there were 2 or 3 this week that they weren't a good fit for us because they didn't have the money. And so I just walked them through how to do it themselves. And you know,
That's a dude.
if they
It's
don't have it,
amazing.
they don't have it. So
No,
you
it's
know,
amazing.
but
You're an honest man.
mhm,
You want to point him in the right direction.
mhm.
So I know you touched on that and the forgiveness part, but I want you to talk to me about your interview with that news channel, because I was telling Miles about it earlier, and we were friends. We were friends before that, but obviously not as close as we are now.
Oh, at the park.
Yeah, Tell me.
I forgot which one it was. It was a national station.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a.
No, tell me about that and how you went into that and told them how you were going to speak to them about it all.
Yeah, so I was getting interviewed a lot because my sister went missing for a month. We didn't know what happened to her, but we knew that we needed the news. We needed them at the time to hopefully have her face put out there. And so we were just doing interviews with anyone that would, and a lot of people wanted it. It was a hot story in Martin County, and anywhere I went, people recognized me because I was in the news a lot. But eventually, when she was found, all these news stations, I kept trying to throw God in there, kept trying to like express that we were, and they just kept cutting it out. They cut out all the Jesus stuff. They just kind of made it what they wanted. They told the story they wanted, just editing. It just drove me nuts. But I needed them, so I didn't have any choice. But when it was done, I did have a choice. And so then I called the one company I liked that didn't like butcher everything I'd said. And I said, hey, I'll give you an interview, just you. I don't want any of the other schmucks out there that keep cutting out all the Jesus thing that matters to me about this. I'll give you an interview, but it's got to be live and you can't edit it ever. I don't want it ever edited. And so he said, sure. So he met me out there at the park where she was murdered. And we did it. And it was a 1.5 minute, 2-minute interview.
Had to be live. You told him
I said, it's got to be live and it can never be edited.
Oh, my
and so he
word.
signed something saying it wouldn't be.
Oh, he actually signed the document.
I sent something over. We both signed it and that was it. They sent me something. Yeah. It was alive. And so they're not allowed to ever edit it because I didn't want them cutting out the most important part to me.
Yep.
At this point, we didn't need him anymore. But I was like, but Trisha would have wanted this to go out there. And then we obviously also wanted it. So, some people feel like, oh, you don't have the right to say that. I'm like, that's okay. They can think what they want to think.
Yeah, let them think whatever.
I knew my sister.
Of course.
I knew what she wanted. We were super close, and I think she would have wanted me to not. Bitterness is the poison you drink hoping to kill somebody else. I don't think she would have wanted me to be angry and vengeful and ruin my life. And I think she would have wanted me to move on and to find forgiveness and use it to help others.
Mm-hmm.
She actually said to me before she passed away, she said, Stephen has dishonored me in front of hundreds, but I just feel like God, she said a lot of things that God told her this, God told her that, and I don't really buy all of it. But she did feel like this. She said she did feel like that God was going to honor her in front of thousands. She's like, Stephen dishonored her by just like cheating on her and just being abusive and just being terrible. Being the worst type of person you could imagine.
For sure.
Just a sinner, just like all of us. Without God, we're on the same spot. But still, he's doing some terrible things, and she felt dishonored in front of all of her friends. And she's like, "But I feel like God is going to honor me in front of," and He did. God honored her in front of national TV.
He did too.
And so it was cool that like I think she would have been super grateful that of all the lives that were touched from her story. And then I went to Baltimore on a mission trip 2 weeks later. And got to share that with these kids in the inner city doing this little VBS. And these kids were like, whoa.
Yeah, okay. Blown away.
And their lives are harder than ours.
Yeah.
They have some hard lives. But when I got to explain that, they just looked at it a little differently. Like, oh, shoot. He actually has been through a couple, something. And so that like helped me to speak into them in a different way.
Relate. And
to relate to them, yeah.
Because you told the news that you completely forgave him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was tough.
And that
definitely had some angry moments.
No, but what I'm trying to say is just how powerful that is to where you can think back, me personally, and remember that.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, dude. You don't see that every day, that kind of mindset.
It wasn't just like immediate either. I think like in that month, it was pretty clear who did it.
Yeah.
Who done it.
Yeah.
How many people even saw Trisha that day. It wasn't this freak thing. And I just like, it was pretty clear, but they can't, you gotta kind of have proof for that.
Absolutely.
So, but there was a moment in that month that I like had gotten angry and I didn't do anything and I'm grateful I didn't, but there were temptations to drive to the Carolinas and beat the living daylights out of somebody, but it like wouldn't have done any good. I would have ended up in jail
Yep.
right next to him. It would have
For
been
sure.
really, really stupid. And it was just
Thank God you didn't.
fleeting temptation. And then I just instantly, like, as I had that like moment and clenched my fist, and I just like had a moment where I realized it was Steven. It was clearly him. They just don't have any proof yet. And then I just clenched my fist. It came to my mind, and then it quickly left when I thought about all the awful, evil things that we do on a daily basis and what that like Jesus died for us. We can't be angry at anything anyone does to us when it's our sin that crucified Jesus. It's
I couldn't agree more, man.
we if God is willing to forgive us, God said, if you can't forgive others, I will not forgive you. I will not. Not can't. Not I might not. No, he won't.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's not why we forgive. We forgive because he first forgave us. Like, he set the example to us. And so, yeah, it was pretty quickly. I thought back to the lessons I had learned in Taekwondo. That just bitterness is the poison you drink, hoping to kill someone else. And then it realized that, like, when things like that happen in your life, you can let two things can happen. You can either let it destroy you. You can grow, or you can let it destroy you. And so I'm like, well, it already happened. Can't change that. So do I want to benefit, or do I want to suffer for it?
Wow.
And so I chose that I would probably be better to benefit from it.
Yeah, of course.
And to use that to try to encourage others to do the same. And it really has been the right move.
Dude, it was absolutely the right move. How many people benefited from seeing you set your example?
Yeah,
friends and family. It's
a lot of people saw it on live TV. And
unbelievable.
Then during the memorial session, I mean, Christ Fellowship's a big church. They were kind enough to let us do it there, and that was really sweet of them. And it was packed. That whole big old building was packed full of people.
For sure.
And back to back, multiple of us brothers spoke, and we got to share Christ's love in that. So it was pretty powerful to get to do that.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. No, I appreciate you sharing that. But take me back to your business after you kind of got rolling. How did you kind of become self-sufficient in that business to where you didn't really need any of his subs? Like when you started forming your own deal, and I mean the insurance is involved, all that stuff. I mean, how complex was all that?
A lot of it is probably not as complex as you would think.
Oh.
Once you find out how to fill out documents, and I didn't know. That was not my forte. Some people are very good at that stuff and they just can see right through it. I was not. I was just get your hands dirty and like do it. I was just kind of figure it out as I went. I didn't really think like that. My manager is great at that stuff. He's great at filling out things. And I'm just like, I'm like, I have no idea what this means. I'm about to snap a picture and ask ChatGPT how to do it for me. I don't know what I'm doing, but that's not how my mind thinks. But now it's like so easy. A lot of these forms and things are pretty easy. It was hard to find an insurance company that actually covered all the things that we do. That was difficult. And so, but we kind of like slowly grew into these things. So at first it wasn't hard because what we weren't really doing a lot. And the licenses, it was tough to figure out what licenses I needed because there wasn't as much information just freely out there. It's more of a niche business, and the people in it don't really share as much as other industries. I feel like in the pressure cleaning world, there's just a million wannabe TikTok stars that will just share anything and everything and make it super easy.
Dude, I see it all the time.
I know,
you want to turn $400 into $1,500? Go on the roof. Like
Yeah,
this guy,
they're just constantly. But in the hazmat world, there's a lot less of that. And then you get into the mold restoration business is a lot less. And then the hazmat, there's even less. And in the hazardous waste, there's like nobody. I couldn't find a single person that like was just like laying things out. So you have to just like figure that out yourself. And so I intend
Which you did.
Yeah, you just got to figure. It's hard. That was the trickiest. The hazardous waste was the trickiest.
What are some examples of hazardous waste that
Oil
you're cleaning
spills,
up?
Diesel spills, chlorine tank dumps out, lead battery acids explode on a military boat. Like,
Dude.
yeah, there's just like all these like crazy, or there's landlords that have warehouses and the tenant just like leaves 50 drums of unknown chemicals that are just like labeled funky. And, one time we took this stuff
labeled funky.
they don't have labels, man. They got weird, like little handwritten scribbles. You're like, what is this? You can't just get rid of it anywhere.
Yeah.
Like you've got to have an EPID number. There's some other things you have to get. You have to have the insurance for that was super hard to get.
Was
like
it
getting
actually?
someone in Florida that would actually cover me for it. And then we made the mistake of taking some of those things before we knew what to do with it. That was really stupid.
Ooh.
That was really hard to get rid of, but we figured it out. But I like the spills. I like it when, I hate it when people have accidents, but people
For
have
sure.
accidents. And there'll be an illicit spill on the side of the highway, and we'll go out there and clean it up.
And you're prepared
Mm-hmm.
to answer your phone at any given hour.
Any given hour, I'll get the call and we'll make it happen. We have all the stuff to do it. We can't do. I think we could, if it went into the water, I could get the stuff. I have most of it. I could do it. If it was like I could do it. We don't have everything we need, but I could borrow a friend's boat. I've got the berms or the booms.
Yep.
We had a vac truck that we sold. That was like super helpful for spills. But we don't like need it. You can do it with just the booms.
Cool.
So yeah, and then like we have all the testing equipment, the PID and the other testing things. When it goes in the dirt, it's a little complicated because you have to kind of track it. You don't know how far down it goes and do all these soil samples and these different fields.
It's pretty complex.
That's annoying, but the ones on the highway are pretty easy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the hazmat though it's fun. I just got to know it more and more, and I started out not really knowing what I was doing. I just had this just a cowboy of a business owner telling me what to do, and he had no idea. He was just guessing too. We were both there guessing right alongside each other.
No way.
And then eventually I found out. I just called enough people and I pestered enough people, and I get a little information from this person, a little bit from this person, and then I could figure this out by what they told me. And I eventually just figured it out. It took a while.
Yeah.
Made a lot of mistakes along the way, but I could have gone and worked for Aftermath for 10 years.
Yeah.
That would have been stupid. I'd much rather have just made the costly mistakes along the way, but we always took care of our clients. There was a job the other day that it's not over. It's a very costly job for us because we cannot track this smell. The bio is gone. I don't have any idea where the smell is at. It was a 2-story building. The upstairs had carpet, then concrete, couple inches, and then wood. We've cleaned it all. And for some reason, they still think there's a smell there. I think it's in the walls. I think it's in the paint. But we didn't offer to repaint everything. But we just had to go way above and beyond.
So you're making it right, is the bottom line.
We're making it right. I made a mistake, and I didn't tell them that, hey, this is a possibility. I almost always do. I had all these like things in there that like, hey, we'll do these things. I'll build parameters or my thing. Like we run into some crazy scenarios where sometimes removing it is not enough and it's in the cabinets or in this and that. You've got to kind of warn them of all the worst case scenario things. And some people get scared by that when you give them all these like potential scenarios. And this one, I just like didn't do it. And it cost me a lot of money to not do that. So I had to literally do everything that we could possibly do within those parameters because I'm an idiot.
Dude.
And now, I had to do it. That was the right thing to do. And then I had the same week, I did the same thing with a mold job. I just trusted the IEP to be telling me that he's the assessor.
IEP.
He's the assessor.
Insurance, something.
No. He's an independent assessor. So they go out there and they are the ones that actually tell you that it is mold. If you've got mold in your wall, like on this beautiful board here, I can't call that mold. Okay, I'm not allowed to. I can say this appears to be microbial growth. I can't call that mold.
It's beautiful microbial growth.
I can't call it that. But if it got tested by a hygienist or a mold assessor, then I can say
condemned.
That's mold. So I just trusted this guy to have an accurate report, and he was wrong.
Oh.
They thought it was humidity built up because of insulation was wrong, and it was a roof leak, and the mold was so much more. I thought, I'll remove like 4 feet of mold. We tore out almost all the drywall in this whole room, ceiling, wall. It was a mess. It was like supposed to be a 6-hour job with one person, 2.5-day job with 2 people. And I'm like, that I didn't make a darn thing on that. It's okay. It's just a learning experience.
Dude. So the bottom line though is it's okay.
It's okay
to
when
make
you
mistakes.
make mistakes. Yeah,
it happens.
It's okay. You just sometimes you make a mistake. You and I like knew I was in that moment. I was writing the estimate. I was just like running late to something. Whether I don't remember exactly what, but I remember like being rushed and just not wanting to think about the rest of that. the writing all the like the what if possible scenarios. I'm like, no, I know what it is. I'm just gonna quickly write this and send it. And then they accepted it, and then that's what I get for being an idiot. I should have just sat there and put the rest of the stuff in there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, okay, this I feel like is a good moment for me to ask you this. This is like kind of a general question, and it kind of pertains to all business. But when you see a job, you're putting a proposal together, whether it's hazmat, hazardous waste, fencing, give me your breakdown. You see the job, and then now we're going to break down into pricing it. We're going to break down into showing up. We're going to break down into timing, all that stuff. How are you figuring? I know some of it's experience for sure.
How do I come up with a number? How do I write the estimate?
Yeah,
the
just
whole thing?
Not necessarily like how do you just come up with a number? I mean, you guess you can get into that if you want, but just breaking down on how to communicate effectively and judging your jobs effectively. You don't have to like give me figures on money or anything, but
communication is definitely the hard part. Everyone has a different idea for everything. If you say, Mitch, I'd like you to clean my car. And if I talk to you, you're a car detailer, I talk to 5 different detailers, every one of you would have a different idea of what the word clean meant. If you had 5 different clients that wanted 5 different cars cleaned, every one of them would have a different idea of what clean was. And so, yeah, like getting on that common ground and making sure that you're there, that's the most important step. So one, in the bio world, usually like they're dealing with a pretty traumatic event. And so you've got to first let them know that they're heard, that we're here. And some people don't really care. They just want you to do it, but you got to kind of feel what the client needs. Do they want to be heard? Do they want it just done right away? What do they need? So you find out what their needs are, and then you communicate so you're on the same page with exactly what needs done. And you may not be able to do that over the phone. Sometimes you need photos. Sometimes you need to show up in person. But yeah, knowing like what their budget is, what their, if
expectations,
expectations. Yeah, you've got to be on the same page with that. Yeah, that's super important because
and just being
people will say,
transparent.
I want you to clean, and they'll see the word micro clean, and they think that means the house is going to be spotless, and it's not even at all about spotless. It's about microscopic cleaning. So just making sure you're on the same page with everything. But how we do that is, I learned pretty quick that when you're a blabbermouth, that people don't actually hear what you say. They hear some of it, and then they choose to hear what they want and exclude the stuff they don't want. And so I have pretty intense estimates that really go over a lot of stuff, because there's so many variables in my industry. It's not like I would like a 1997 Ford Mustang with a V8 and these tires and this. That's great. That would be super easy if I could just provide that. But no, like we want you to make this thing not smell anymore. Okay, great. Where'd the smell come from? No idea. We had dogs in there for 6 months. Oh, and this person might have been a smoker, and it might have been a meth house, and it might have been someone might have died in there, and then there's mold, and then they just start listing off all these things that could have possibly caused a smell. What's it smell like? Oh, I don't know. It's just not a good smell. Thanks.
That narrows it down.
Sometimes it can be tricky.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just got to lay out all the possible scenarios.
Being transparent. We're going to show up at this time. Man of your word kind of deal.
Yeah. And then if they're happy with it, most people, like there's an element, for me to sell a job, you have to trust me. Trust is a big deal. And so being transparent, especially in an industry like this, people know that most people are not experts at this, and most people acknowledge that. Some people want to pretend they're an expert in anything, and that's fine. You're just not typically my client. But some people they want to find someone they can trust and just trust them with it. And those are great clients to have, because at the end, when they see that we've done a great job, they're just overwhelmingly happy and grateful. But yeah, we still need to communicating is hard when you don't really know what's behind the walls. You don't know how much mold is behind the wall. You don't know where the blood went. We see it going in this corner. Did it go into 2 rooms past that? Did it go into the floor below it? Did it go do we have to remove this tub? Who knows? We don't know until we start. And it's do I, you got other companies telling you different things, but I guess when you're, just being a clear, honest communicator, that's kind of
the most important thing.
The most important thing.
Did you ever walk into a job and you were like, bro, this is not at all what I was expecting?
There are so many jobs like that. One of them in Pensacola, this lady was insane. She looked like the witch that gave the poison apple. That's what she looked like.
That's what you want. That's what you want.
She looked like that. There was probably 10 dead cats in this house.
Oh my gosh.
She gave us a couple photos, and they were the very best areas of the house. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be a couple days. It's not great. It's pretty bad. But this home was one of the worst that I'd ever seen for cat feces and cat litter buildup. Like inches and inches and inches. It was just basically cement. I mean, that's what it feels like you're chopping up. It's insane. Just everywhere throughout these rooms. Just thick.
The whole thing was a litter box.
Years and years and years and years of that. So it's just so compact and hard, and it's so disgusting. This whole house covered in just hair and probably mold. I can't call it mold.
But how do you live in that without becoming sick, or the animals?
I don't know, man.
She was just immune to it.
I don't know how that works, man. Everyone's immune system is different. It sounded like she was living there at the time. But yeah, we gave her a quote. We went out to Pensacola. We did the job. We realized it was way worse than we thought. We did a couple days of it. That was a whole ordeal. We ended up going to court with her because she didn't want to pay. She thought we did a bad job. I'm like, well, you didn't give us what we like. You gave us pictures that showed a completely different thing. That's why our days were off. And then she has all these reasons why we didn't do a good job. And we ended up going to small claims court with it, and it was a pain in the neck. I had to go to Pensacola, which I'm 8 hours away from there to do it, but it was more of a principle thing.
Yeah.
And then they got rescheduled after I drove 8 hours. I'm like, well, that was fun.
Perfect.
Well, there was like there was a thing to see if we could get along.
Yeah.
And I went to that, and then we didn't. She didn't want to budge on it. It was just terrible.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, we've had a number of them where we go in there and they've sent us the best pictures of the house and completely ignored all the bad areas. That typically happens when you're dealing with someone who either is too afraid to go into the house and they're showing you the entrance, or they want to pretend they don't have a problem.
For sure.
And
I was about to say, she's probably so embarrassed about that.
They're embarrassed about it. They don't want to admit that they've got a hoarding issue. They just want to make it look better, and they're doing themselves a disservice. So we've been into that a number of times. It's usually with hoarding jobs.
Was that the worst hoarding job that you saw, or no?
No, not even close.
Dude, are you kidding me?
Not even close. No, that wasn't even a hoarding. That was just a deep clean.
That wasn't even hoarding?
No, it was just cats, Oh. Oh man, there's some. I'll show you a picture afterwards that Kanan had on that job, if I can find it.
Dude.
But there was a...
What was the worst one you think you ever saw hoarding?
We've had them where there was stuff all the way to the ceiling, where you could barely crawl.
Barely crawl?
You could barely crawl on top of the garbage. Like, you're up there. Like, you're crawling up to the ceiling, and it's everywhere throughout the whole house, just trash. This one, he died in the trash. Like on like gosh, 4 or 5 foot of stuff, and it would like there'd be areas where you're like touching the ceiling, other areas where you're like diving down. And it's a small house, but you had like 4 or 5 dumpsters full of stuff. The average hoarding home's got maybe 60 yards of trash. This thing was like 800 square feet, and it had like 5 30-yard dumpsters. It was just packed
of trash.
There was a lot of like expensive guitars, and that's the hard part. Is like sometimes there's good stuff in there too. There was like 10 guitars that were all worth over $1,000 a piece. There was a couple really cool cars in the garage, just covered in stuff. It's so hard to find stuff.
So sometimes you do find cool stuff.
Oh, amazing stuff. One job, I didn't do this job, but this was before I bought hazmat cleaners. But I know the guys that did. They found a bazooka.
A legitimate bazooka.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, they're a bunch of idiots, man. They called the bomb squad immediately. What do you think the threshold for owning a bazooka is on how much guns you've hoarded? How many guns do you have to have before you unlock bazooka?
Yeah, no, you're at armory status.
Yeah, the cops took all of it.
For sure. For sure.
Like the family would have been okay with, they didn't want the guns. And so they might have given them to us, but we don't even get to know that. Because the guy with the bazooka, they got scared of an unloaded bazooka.
Yeah, they tattled.
They tattled, rascals.
Those dirty little rascals.
I want them to tell the family, like, let me be abundantly clear. You call the family first.
Yeah.
But, like, and if you're not comfortable, like, get out of the house.
Dude,
we found grenades a number of times. Like, that's great.
A number of times?
A number of times. Like, get out of the house, call the bomb squad. We've had a couple bomb squads pissed. And I'm like, no, we're not going in there until you oh, it's probably one of the fake ones. It was not. It was a live grenade, you freaking idiots. But they don't want to like get up and get the whole thing out there and wear their suits because it might be a dud. Dude. That's your freaking job, you idiots.
What if it's not a dud?
Exactly. Someone's going to die like because he didn't want to do his freaking job.
What does this little pen do? Ding.
Oh. My guy kept calling me. The guy doesn't want to show up. I'm like, pester him again. Call his boss. Like, rat him out for being an idiot. Like,
dude,
this is literally his job. This is it. And he doesn't want to get up out of his lazy butt and like do.
You go do it.
He did it. He did it. And sure enough, it was indeed a live grenade. Congratulations, you moron. You could have killed my workers.
Yeah, literally though.
Gosh.
How crazy is that?
Most of the time, they're excellent to work with. The police are usually awesome to deal with. I will say that some of these addresses, like, they know that address. And so, like, if we're on that job, the odds of them knowing that address are higher.
Yeah.
Because it's like...
They knew there was a red flag at some point.
Yeah, and so maybe they're just like, he was just like, not this house again. You know, they're like, I've heard of this place. And so I can't, like, totally... I don't really know what was going on. He might have been busy, but it just, in the moment, I was pissed off.
Oh, for sure.
Because he, like, was just disregarding my guy's safety when that's his job. But so I can't be too
Still,
hard
though,
on him.
the bazooka's a bummer.
Yeah, the bazooka was a bummer. I was like, man.
Dude, just call him up. Say, hey, all full transparency. We got a little bazooka sitting in the garage. I mean, I don't know if you want me to take it off your hands or what the deal is, but
I want nothing
if
to
you do,
with,
I will.
I want nothing to do with the bazooka. I wanted, you know, like, he had so much, like, has so many other guns and ammo in there that they took it all, and it's going to be locked up in an evidence thing for the next 30 years, never just rusting away.
Dude, the cops are drawing straws on who gets the bazooka.
Right. None of them get it. None of them get it. It's not how that works.
Yeah.
It's locked up for the next 5 decades.
Oh man, that's funny.
Maybe one day they'll get to use it on a gun range.
Yeah,
but,
maybe
like,
that would be a legit day.
No, it just got wasted. I'm like, you could have asked the family.
For sure.
And again, I'm asking, you do it the legal way.
Yeah.
Like, there's very legal ways to do it, but I'm not saying. Can I put a pause on this for 1
Yeah,
second?
of course.
Quick call.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Hey, this is Nathan. It was just a spam call.
Spammers.
Spam calls.
Dude, we got to let you grind.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you were in this garage and you were like,
Here, Miles, put your mic down.
you guys could have potentially, like,
Wow.
were just in there hitting the mystery box, like.
Exactly.
Like,
I
there
wasn't-
was a lot of weapons.
Miles, you can
There
put
was-
your mic down. You can talk if you
can
want.
talk if you want. Yeah. There was a lot of stuff in this. I wasn't at this house, unfortunately, or I would have been like, okay, chill. Okay, get out of the house. Safety first. Safety third. I mean, and then I would have called the family and said, hey, just so you know, this guy's got an arsenal. What do you want us to do? Well, we can call the cops. If they confiscate it, probably be gone forever. Do you want any of these guns before we do that? And if they say, no, we don't really care about these guns, I'll say, hey, do you mind if we have some of these guns? and usually they say, go for it.
Yeah.
Like, that's usually what people say. They're like, go for it. And then you have to check to make sure they're not stolen, make sure they're not used. And so you can do VIN checks on all of them. And then, you know, so again, I'm not recommending anybody that you just go and take guns out of people's homes. Just to be very clear with that. But
No,
like,
for sure you can't do that.
well, we've been given guns before by family members. You always check them to make sure they're not stolen or anything else. But sometimes I'll send them to a police friend of mine and say, hey, this is the VIN. Can you look this up for me?
Mm-hmm.
And I always make sure, because that's not worth it. It's not worth going to prison.
Are there some items, though, that they sure enough just give you?
Oh, yeah.
Cars?
Yeah.
All...
Well, I've literally had some vehicles given to me.
Wow.
And I'm telling them, like, hey, this is a $1,200 watch. This is a gold coin. This is and they're just like, I don't really care. Like, sometimes they don't. They usually do.
Mm-hmm.
And we just give it to them anyways, whether that's a Coach purse. We look for things that look like they're valuable. We set them aside for the family and say, do you want this? This is what it looks like. And sometimes they're just like, I'm inheriting a $500,000 house. I don't really care about $5,000 worth of stuff. Like, they don't really care. They live in, you know, maybe they're wealthy and don't care. There's a bunch of reasons, but sometimes it's estranged families. They're just like, they don't want anything to do with that person.
Yeah.
I've had people literally walk away from estates that they were going to make a few $100,000 from because they don't like the person. They just walked away from it. And I don't blame them. They were really, really hurt by the person. But like, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars. They just let it go, and the state has to deal with it, which is a long, complicated process.
Dude.
Yeah. So some people just, they don't care. They say, take anything you want. And, you know, a lot of bigger items. So my employees get all kinds of
Perks.
bigger, the perks, you know. Sometimes people will hoard. This one guy hoarded microscopes, and so we had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, probably maybe up to 1,000 brass
Microscopes?
brass microscopes, like you'd see in a science lab. Those little suckers are like 500 at the low end and thousands at the high end. We literally found probably close to 1,000 brass, like big microscopes, and they were just everywhere.
Like
And
piled?
just all over the house, everywhere. They're just like, there's 20 of them here. There's 15 in this cabinet. There's 4 of them in this drawer. They're just everywhere.
Is that the weirdest item you think that has been hoarded?
Oh no, dolls have been the weirdest, dude. You walk into a room decorated with dolls, it just freaks you out. There's like all over the bed. I've been in this home like, oh, this is creepy. I don't want to.
Dude.
Yeah, I've seen them.
How many times have you seen that?
A couple of times.
A couple?
And like the clowns, the doll, like some people
Oh.
have weird things. The stupid little bicycle clowns on bicycles, clowns on the carousel, that freaks me out too.
For
It
sure.
makes me uncomfortable.
You think that is the
Ugh.
weirdest item, though?
No, not the weirdest. There's some other things that aren't really
PG?
age appropriate that
Oh,
you
gosh.
find people collecting too.
No way. You're kidding me right now.
That's the worst. That's the worst when you see it. But
Dude,
It is.
what?
Latex and rubber involved.
it's lots of stuff. Lots of stuff.
Yeah, that's a disturbing one.
Yeah, there's
Wait, so I have a question though. So
Uh-oh.
do you delete
questions off of that. That's rough.
No, not that. Do you when you're
Terrible question,
now
asker.
when you're called like to a residence or anytime you're with your job,
Mhm.
do you involve? Are they paying you personally, or are you dealing with insurance companies? Like, I just want to know who's like
That's a better question than I thought.
paying.
Yeah, that was actually
ask
not a
for
bad
that
question.
Yeah, so insurance companies are definitely involved in a lot of transactions. It's not always. Most of the 99% of the hoarding ones are nothing to do with insurance. So insurance pays for things that are not self-inflicted. So, now, if there's a hoarder and they die in the home, then they'll pay me to remove all the contents. There's a lot of like unattended deaths in homes where someone passes away, natural causes, even suicides, and we will get paid through insurance. And if they were there for more than a couple days after the off-gassing started, if there's any kind of a smell, we can get paid to remove all the cloth in the home, do a micro clean throughout the whole home, HEPA the whole home, mop all the floors. And so we do get to do other things for those clients.
Yeah. What is HEPA?
Just means vacuuming with HEPA filtration. So there's like
Okay.
vacuums that are a whole lot better than a regular
It's an
vacuum.
intense vacuum.
Not necessarily suction, but more about the filtration. So it gets things down to like 1 or 2 or 3 microns in
Then
size.
they're on as like the thing 1 and thing 2 vacuums and Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, that's
They're
it.
in there.
That's
There's all
it.
kind. Yeah, so it's not necessarily about the suction level, although it should have good suction.
Mhm.
It's more about the filters that the air goes through, so it gets
Yeah.
all the little mold spores and everything else.
What
Those are so
What do
small.
you think out of? Because now when you say unattended death and suicide, what would you think out of those was probably the worst one that you guys saw? We're like, whoa, this is bad. This is bad. Surely I'm sure they're all bad.
Mm-hmm.
Is there one that stands out?
There's a bunch.
Really?
Yeah, there's some really, really sad ones. There's bad and like super messy.
Yeah.
I think one of the worst was both the messiest and the most heartbreaking.
Oh my gosh.
When I saw it, I was pretty angry. It was a murder, double murder, and it involved the mom and her little boy.
Oh my gosh.
And it just
You saw it?
It wrecked me for a while.
Dude.
I saw photos of it.
You
and
did?
It just that was tough.
Dude, how terrible is that?
When
That
you
was
say
horrible.
you've seen photos, are you the first one that like police get called for say, or like
The
what's the
scene
step?
has to be cleared before we can get involved. The bodies are gone.
So it needs to be
typically.
safe. It needs to be
Yeah,
discovered safe.
so what happens is someone passes away. Somehow it gets found out someone died there, and so that someone usually calls the cops, and they bring the ME. The ME gets called, and they call their transport company, the guy that has a contract with the ME to transport the bodies. They come, and they usually have to respond within 2 hours, and the cops are just like there on site, just securing the scene before, so no one like walks in.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can just track stuff. And then once the ME is there and they're done, they've pulled the bodies out. They do whatever evidence collecting they need to do. They'll do it while the body's there as well. If there was a murder or it was any kind of suspicious death, they can have that scene for a day if they need it. But it's usually 6 to 8 hours at max. Usually, if it's a pretty obvious, like they died of a heart attack, it was pretty easy to tell, then it's usually a couple hours. They're like usually waiting on the transport company.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, hey, just so you know, like you're going to want to call a hazmat company. There's some fluids, and so they usually are the ones that like tell the people.
They're prompting them to,
and they don't even know like who they call. They've never even thought about hazmat companies. They've seen a movie maybe, and like seen it in a movie, seen it in John Wick, seen someone give them a gold coin. They're like, "Do you guys take gold coins?" Like, or the Sunshine State Cleaners. Like they've seen that, but they've never thought about it up until this point. So
most people don't.
No, they don't want
Typically,
to.
no.
You're thinking about death. No one wants to think about being dead.
No.
That's not fun.
It's not.
It's the opposite of fun.
Have you ever had a call where they call you first and they don't want law enforcement involved?
That's a funny way to word that. Someone asked me the other day that kind of question a different way. It was the funniest way I heard. They're like,
"Can you clean up?"
Yeah. So do you work before or after the cops get there? I have never been asked to clean before the police get there.
Yeah.
And if I did, I would not do it.
No.
I would call the cops myself, just to be clear.
But you've never been asked.
We've never worked for the mafia or mob or gangbanger or anyone else. No, not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing.
So
that's a good thing. No, dude,
would be messy.
Props to you. That's the only way you can stay rooted is, having Jesus involved in your life.
Yeah,
that would mess me up, dude.
That one was pretty hard.
Oh
I
my
still
gosh.
can see it pretty bad. I don't even want to fully explain what I saw. It was.
No, you don't.
It was devastating. It was pretty devastating. Like most of them, I can handle no problem. It's like, okay, I've seen this a million times. When I was on the scenes, I could disassociate pretty well with it. Like I'm just cleaning up Jello. I'm just cleaning up Jello. That's what I'm cleaning up. Oh, or like melted crayons. That's what it felt like. It was just like you took a blowtorch to a bunch of crayons and it just melted. Like you're just scraping it up, spraying, scraping. It's just going away. You're not really thinking about it.
That's the best way to describe it. Probably melted crayons.
That like sometimes. I mean, it usually has more of a gelatin feeling. But like there are times when it sits for a long period of time where it'll be
Kinda
more like that. Yeah. So
you can disassociate a little bit.
it's pretty easy. Yeah. And again, I'm not like scared of death. I'm not scared of thinking about it. And so you're just making the time pass and just
Working.
listen to music, working. You're just, talking to someone else in the room. Like you're just letting it go.
And you're trying to help this family out.
Yeah. You're trying to help the family out. So,
Great mindset.
some people are pretty inappropriate with it. I've
For
had
sure.
employees that were like laughing about it and doing different things, and it's like they're gone. They're gone. You want to make a joke about it? Nope. Like not. Oh, we need to have respect for the dead.
For sure.
So, especially like in some of these situations, it's like it kind of like I get that sometimes like we make jokes about our job, but they just pushed it too far.
Yeah. It was too often.
They went like I get like sometimes you laugh because you don't want to cry, but
That's a true thing
these
too.
people just like this employee like just took it too far.
Jeez.
And they were like, the family was right outside and they're inside giggling and laughing, and I'm like,
yeah.
just lost their brother, you heartless, so that's not
Just got to be appropriate.
not
with
a
it.
good look.
No,
Yeah,
it's definitely not.
No, so yeah, it's pretty easy, but yeah, the main thing is like I know that one, we're gonna help them through the situation, and that there is that hopefully we can have a much longer impact on them, and so that makes it like way better. Anytime you'd be like tempted to be like, wow, this situation sucks. Like, okay, this is an awesome situation where I get to in the sense where you get to hopefully speak truth into them. Like I get to be put in here. And I care about them and their eternity. So I get to talk to them about that.
How many people leave there and they're thinking like, wow, that guy was really amazing and helpful and positive, and people remember that stuff.
I think they do. We have a lot of good reviews that show it.
No, they definitely do.
Yeah. Our one thing that's really neat about this industry versus others is our reviews are spectacular. It's not just like, oh, 5-star. They were cheap. They were good. They were this. They were that. No, it's like they're writing monologues in there. Like they're like really leaving descriptive details. And so that's really encouraging to see they're putting a lot of trust in you. And when you come through for them and everything works out like you said, and they're just like, they're not really sure, but they don't even want to describe the situation again. They just want it over as soon as possible.
And taken care of.
So if they have the trust in you, then they just do it. And when the situation's over and they see it cleaner than it was when he was there, or she was there, and they see that you helped them through the whole claim process, like you said, you didn't take advantage of them, you weren't trying to like put some situations you have to insurance doesn't pay, and so you have to have like backup options. And some companies go straight to the lien on the house, and they're deceptive. They don't really explain what happens if it doesn't. They just say, "Oh, insurance will pay for it," and they don't really like explain to them that like if they don't, you're responsible for something. We explain to them, insurance should pay for it. If they don't, you have these options, and if they don't, you will owe us this much money, which is usually substantially discounted.
That goes back to your communication thing.
But yeah, like
just
we are
communicate.
clear, because some people, like, they know that people are just going to sign. Most people just sign the dotted line, not read it, not understand it, and then they're going after that person's house when they like just, and they're keeping the same bill. Like they've got an overinflated bill for insurance to begin with. The insurance would probably like talk down by 30-40%, and they're just sticking the whole thing with the customer and saying, well, insurance would pay for it, therefore you have to pay for it. And they'll try to put a lien in the house, or they'll do different things. And, there's some crummy companies out there that will do some rotten things and take advantage of people.
Yeah. That's
Or
somebody.
that'll steal. Stealing is a big issue in this industry.
Really?
Our guys don't do that.
Just being in the house and.
You're in the house for anyone else, and it is a real problem with hazmat companies. That is the number one trait my guys have to have, is they have to be completely honest with me. They cannot lie. If I have ever, you cannot lie to me. If you lie to me,
You're done.
We're done. I don't trust you. Like, I have to trust you when you say you've done this and done that and didn't find this and did find that. Like, that really, really matters. If you're faithful in what's little, you be faithful in what's big. How you do anything is how you do everything. That's a big freaking deal. Like, are they hardworking? Are they non-squeamish? And are they and do they lie?
Is it hard to find good help?
It's really hard. It's really hard to find really good guys. I've got an amazing team right now, but I had a lot of guys that like I tried, and then they just like they couldn't handle it.
No.
So and there's been people that have asked me that I'd have liked to hire, but I couldn't trust. I wanted to help them, but
You need to trust them.
I had a guy that I was really, really, really trying to help. He needed help, and I was trying to pull him up, and he was pulling me down. He crashed my car because he was doing drugs while I loaned him a car for a few months, and he crashed it and lied to me like 4 times about the story. And every time I got a little more truth, he hit a parked car, and I had higher insurance for the next 3 years because this idiot, like, it's the whole thing. I was really trying to help him, trying to give him a job, and
he was taking advantage of you and not doing right by you.
He was not like going anywhere. He wasn't doing the things I'd asked him to do in order for that to happen. It just was a mess, but he cost me a lot of money just making silly mistakes.
Do you need any like special certs to work for someone like you or a company like yours?
Great question.
There's less than you would think. There are some things that you're supposed to have as the owner, but as an employee, you should have some training. There's a lot less regulation than you would imagine in this industry. There's more regulation in the hazardous waste than anything else. Like with that, anytime there's a spill over 25 gallons, it's 25 or 35. Oh shoot! Now I can't think of the name of it. I'm pretty sure it's one of those government. I can't think of the name of the agency. One of the government agencies has to be alerted basically the moment anything over 25 or 35 gallons gets spilled. Now I can't remember a darn thing.
Of what? Like
Anytime like oil gets spilled in the waterway,
okay.
you have to call the Florida Water Management. You have to call them the moment any oil goes into the waterway. Like there's just certain, but with like blood, you can have a triple murder suicide, and like the cops are gonna know, but no one's like checking to make sure you did a good job.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're doing the oil spills, like they are up your butt.
Yeah.
Like they want to know.
They want it right.
They want to know like where's the manifest, where did you take it? Did you do the report? They want to know everything. They don't care about like this is a meth house. There's no one like checking my work, making sure that like all the meth's gone. It's been unmethed up. But
dang.
Oh man, but
Have you seen meth
oil.
houses too?
Yeah, but they care about
Jacked
the oil.
up.
They care about the oil though.
Yeah, they really care about the oil. They want that oil in the ground.
They want it out of the ground.
Yeah, they want it out of the ground, dude. Doubly out.
Oh man.
No, that's funny.
No,
So, I know you got to go in about like what 30.
something like that.
Yeah. So, one of the questions I wanted to ask was, as far as take this from a new person that wants to go into business. How do they go into business? I'm not talking about specifics of that industry, but how do they start a business? What is the best and safest and easiest way that's going to set them up for success?
when you're going into business, so a lot of people, they want to find this, they're trying to like find their dream job. They're trying to like find the thing that's going to make them happy. So they never work a day in their life. They want to make a ton of money and they want to have it super easy and they want to wake up every day just excited to do their job. And like, if you're looking for that, just go back to sleep and dream some more. Like
It doesn't
that's where you're
exist.
going to find that.
Yeah.
I truly do love my job, but I think a lot of like your happiness that you're looking for is just in contentment. You have to just like learn to be content. And so I feel like what you should do if you're wanting to start a business or a career is, number one, you pray on it. Number two, you make a big old board and you talk about like, what are the things that you want out of your career? Is there a certain amount of money that you want to make? Is there a certain schedule that you want to make? Is there like list all the things that are the most important to you and try to find something and just explore. Like talk to older, wiser people, ask them questions and find out what fits in these areas. Are you claustrophobic? Don't be a plumber. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that, because you could buy a plumbing business that's already established and you could be very unclaustrophobic sitting behind a desk, like you're not gonna be crawling under a sink if you're buying an established company. So, I don't know. I think you should just be open, like list all the things that are important to you, what you think matters, and then talk to a ton of older, wiser people and then find out what's important to them, the things that they would regret doing, and just try to build out like, you're just reverse engineering where you want to be. Like, where do you want to be in the next 10, 20 years?
And work down from that.
Who do you like respect? What do they do? And just, work down from that and find out, like, is this industry, like, you just got to think a lot, answer a lot of questions. Is this industry going to be around in 20 years? How is it going to be different? How can I succeed? Does my market need this? Do I have to move for that? So it stinks. I don't want you to like spend a year trying to decide what to do.
Take action. Try something.
You need to like take action, but like I do think you should spend a couple days at least, like really thinking on it.
Yeah, and weighing these options.
Yeah, some people they take that as like, oh, I'm just gonna think about it, and they think about it for years and years and years and years and years and decades even, and they keep saying they're gonna start a business, they're gonna do it, and they never do it. And like that's stupid. Like if you're gonna do it, do it. But you definitely need to like critically think about it. So that's if you want to do it, that's the first step I would take is start critically thinking about it. Think about like different opportunities and start envisioning yourself. If you were in that career, what are you hoping to get out of it? And then like, you've got to count the cost, like okay, you want to have here's one, a holiday lighting business. I have people telling me they want to do Christmas tree lights because it seems easy. That's great. That's great. I know a guy whose best friend did that and almost got divorced from it because it was so stressful. He worked like a month out of the year, did 7 figures, but for whatever reason, in that month, it broke him. He was doing a couple million a year, and that month out of the year broke him mentally. Like he could not do it
because
and
of the
maintain his
load.
marriage because it was so much all at once. And like you can have a nice little Christmas tree business where you're not doing that. It's a nice little add-on. My point is just like think about it. Like talk to people in that industry. Just find out about it. Think, okay, this person seems like me. Does he like it? I don't know. I believe in having a well thought out plan, basically.
Well thought out plan.
Having a well thought out plan. I think that's important. And then just, you don't have to have everything perfectly figured out. Some people try to figure out everything and they never start, but
which you never will have it all figured out in the beginning.
But like try to think it out, talk to people, find people in that industry, and then just start and see what happens. Work hard. And
how do you manage, you personally, how do you manage the stress of running a big company, stressful work, this, that, you're seeing this, you're seeing that. I know like you put your hope in Jesus, which is ultimately what we all should be striving for, but the balance of work and home and having a family and then playtime and just trying to incorporate everything together. I know there's no secret sauce for it, but what is the best way to kind of navigate that?
It's definitely hard at times finding the balance with work. I'm still trying to find that balance. We have a second kid now, and I'm like, I need to change my schedule because I need to get up early so that I can have time in the day and not feel guilty that I didn't work enough, and not feel guilty I didn't have enough time with my family. I can have the same sleep schedule as my wife, so like I'm like finding out now I have to get up really, really early. I initiated that this week. I have done it successfully one day.
Me
and
too.
Failed twice this week.
I appreciate you being honest,
I'm trying
dude.
to, yeah. My new goal is like, okay, I'm gonna get up at 4 a.m. I'm gonna work from 4 to 8, and then I'll have a break with my kids in the morning. And then like there was a whole goal, and I have failed twice. In a
Why,
row.
dude? Why is it so hard?
It's so
Dude, it's so hard. I got up I set an alarm for 4:30. I got out of bed like,
Yeah, I made it out of bed too.
dude.
Out of one bed into another.
Yeah, dude.
Like, okay, I'm walking to the stairs. I see that empty room. I'm like,
You're
oh, I'm
like,
going to
nah.
bed. I can't do it. I'm feeling nauseous.
But I will say, okay, so you set your alarm for 4:30. I get up the one day. I'm like, dude, this was amazing. You know,
Yep.
you work out, you feel like Jocko.
Yep.
You're like, this is legit, and it does like help you throughout your day. But then the next day, you're like, oh man, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I mean, I'm bad at it. I'm bad at it. So
I told myself this week I'm going to do it. And I'm like, I still have the ability to have done it successfully more than I have not done it this week. So
you and me both.
Tomorrow I'm doing it at 4 a.m. I'm going to be there.
Nice. I'm gonna
be
text you at 4:30. Be like, what up, big dog?
I'm going to call you.
Yeah, call me.
I'm
actually,
not calling you and bothering your wife when you're still in bed. No thanks. You text me.
So what was the transition like from 1 to 2 kids? Because everyone tells me 0 to 1 is the hardest, and then 1 to 2 is not so bad.
It's so conditional, man.
Yeah.
You talk to your last guest on here. It's like, as soon as you have the second kid, doesn't one kid feel like easy mode now? Like,
Yeah, no, for sure.
thanks, Chandler. You told me that beforehand. No warning.
Yeah.
No, it depends on your kids, man. It depends on your capability, your spot in life, where you're at. Like, I feel like it's easier for me at the moment because of where I am in my work, because I started my business so much younger. I'm trying to push a lot right now, and so it's a little busy right now, but I have the ability to just like step back and not work in the day, and the business isn't going to miss me a day or two here and there. So if there's a day where my wife is overwhelmed, I work from home, I can just step back and just be there. Like, it's not going to grow as well without me.
For sure.
But missing a day or two doesn't really matter. So for me, the second's been easier.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a better spot than I was then. But it's also, and the second kid, I feel like he's a bit calmer than my first was.
Yeah, I got you.
Wait, not to go back, but
No, go back because I'm about to ask him another business question.
yeah, you're saying you don't need. So, just for the question, you do or do not need to be present at every job.
No, I'm not.
So
no.
you have crews that go out to
Yeah, and so at some point I made the switch from owner operator to non-owner operator, and so now we have a manager. I've got crews that go out. I work from home, and my job is you wear a lot of hats as a business owner. It's really easy to get caught up in the busy work, just putting out fires and just doing stupid things, just wasting time and feeling like you were successful. But you really have to keep that business development hat on, which is really hard for me. You've got to keep talking to people, meeting new people, developing new relationships. There is like a never-ending list for me of things that I could do. And then some days you don't want to do those things. And you're like looking through your list, like, oh, is there something that I want to do? And you got to force yourself to do something. But yeah, no, I haven't been on a job. I'll do it occasionally because we're in the emergency restoration business. And so there are some times that I like, my guys are sick or this or that, or they really don't want to, or they had a long week. And so I'll just go and do it.
When you say do it, like you suit up.
I suit up and go out there in the Cybertruck and go, you know.
Are there special suits? Like, I used to be a painter. I painted boats and whatever, so I'd put a Tyvek suit on.
Just Tyvek. I mean, there are special suits beyond that, but most of the time you're using Tyvek suits.
Tyvek and a mask.
And are you in a 3M, mask with certain filters, or you got like NOS behind your back and are you scuba diving above ground?
There are
Land
scenarios.
scuba.
There are scenarios where you need that that oxygen tank, but not common ones. That's
Okay.
like a once every other year. It depends on like how on your connections. You might just like have a connection. You're getting jobs like that all the time. We don't get that often.
You've done that?
So like
scuba
I've
dive?
had like a
opportunities.
big gas leak or something.
Yeah, I've had opportunities at some of those jobs. But I didn't know enough about it.
Yeah.
And so my pricing was way off.
The local
sure.
fire,
Yeah,
the local fire rescue, like special ops show up, like they look like astronauts, and you guys walk in with Tyvek suits and gold necklaces on, like watch out, boys.
What up, G?
Yeah.
No, we've had opportunities, but I didn't know enough, and the guy knew it. The guy and my pricing was off. I was just like, I'm willing to try anything. I'm willing to learn on the spot. But I feel like I'm giving people two different stories. I'm like, yeah, do a lot of research, but then learn on the spot. It's
Well,
a little bit of both, you know?
It is both because you're not going to know, so you have to guess.
Yeah, I guess
Educated,
a lot. I
educated.
do a lot of educated guessing, a lot of it. And again, like I've always just like figured it out as I go.
Dude.
And I like don't regret most of it, but there's sometimes like, man, if I had thought a little bit harder, just a little bit more, I would have saved some money there.
When you were telling me how you bid out the one job, like you cleaned this giant warehouse.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
And
It was a big old guess.
fire extinguishers are everywhere.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, we're gonna be here this many days. It's gonna take us this much time, and this is how many guys. And you just like boom, 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 and then you're like, boom, I was right on the money.
Yeah, I guess so. Like a 250,000 square foot warehouse had these 5-7 little vandal kids that broke into a dummy locked door right around Christmas time, and they let off, I think, 12, 11 fire extinguishers, which is a super fine little dust. And yeah, that was costing them about $250,000 a day because they couldn't work in that because they were going to get that dust gets inhaled. That can give you like respiratory issues, and then they're going to get a bunch of workman's comp claims. So they're losing $250,000 a day. This is right around Christmas time, so they're going to be closed anyways for a couple days. But they lost a day to that. They lost $250,000 in revenue from that one day, and the guy wanted it done ASAP. Actually was one of my neighbors and didn't call me because I was his neighbor. He called someone else. Like, yeah, we can't get out there till next week. And then he calls me out of desperation. He's one of those guys that like, your neighbor's your neighbor. You can't change that.
Mm-hmm.
So don't screw with that relationship.
Yeah.
I've had a couple neighbors like that, but he was desperate. So he called me and we kicked butt. We
Wow.
got that thing done, and in a couple of days, he offered me a substantial bonus, like a 30% bonus on a very expensive job if I could get it done by a certain day, by the end of Christmas, so he didn't have any more missed days.
He offered that, or do you?
Yeah, I gave him a price, and then he offered. I said, "It's me." I was like, "Listen, this is a 250,000 square feet. We're gonna do a little bit of guessing here," and I just went like. I broke it down to sections. Like this section is going to take this long. This section, this section, this section. So walls, floors, ceiling, shelves. Like I broke down all the things and I just added the hours. And I'm like, it's going to take us between 250 to 300 hours, like man hours. You want that done in 3 days. It's a lot of people. That's like, we had.
You guys on
like,
scissor lifts and stuff? Like how do you?
No, they only carried about 6 foot down.
Oh.
Most of it was 6 foot down.
That's
like
handy.
They're kids.
Yeah.
There were some a little higher, but not the majority of the dust.
I see.
And so we had some efficient ways of doing it because of all our True Leave, like with wall mops and HEPA-Vacs, and we knew what to do, but it was just an extreme amount of stuff. And so it was a fun job. And then like managing that many people at a time, I don't think I had done a job with 14 people on a job before. I was like, this is new. This is fun,
Yeah, it's kind of a cool dynamic.
We were just like pressed for time, got there super early, spent all night like prepping everything, getting the tape. Like it was fun. It was really a fun experience. And then we were just, and then trying to get people on Christmas Eve to do stuff. And even on Christmas, we did it by Christmas Eve, which was awesome. Noon by Christmas Eve, we were able to get it done. So it was
Should have left a little bit to see if Santa would have stepped around some of that snow.
Santa Claus visited the warehouse.
Yeah, so they were, needless to say, they were very happy with the outcome. They happily paid us a nice little bonus. But that was a fun one. But yeah, we guessed right in the money because you're doing educated guessing. So when I'm talking about thinking and like, I do a lot of, I jump in a lot of things head first. I just like, you know what? If they can do it, I can do it. Or it can't be that hard. That's what I usually say. It can't be that hard. And then
Classic last words.
Turns out it can be that hard. I've gotten myself in trouble before or been very close jumping into things without enough information.
No, I have too.
I just think that, you definitely like.
And do you have someone to resort to just overall, like something gets too stressful, because you're not a 50-year-old man. So like you're a young dude. Like if something that you aren't educated on, do you have anyone to resort to above you?
To reach out to people?
Just like if you're uneducated on something like
This guy's got a major network.
Tons of people I can reach out to.
Oh, okay.
He's networked
I
up.
try to like, so I'll have a call, and then I'll just call a couple people. But I know people in my industry, other industries. I can usually figure it out though between what I've already learned.
Right.
And you can do a little bit of research. I get so many calls about weird. This week, this lady mixed vinegar and bleach and made this gas, and I had to come up with a way to
That's not how you make pickle
neutralize it.
juice.
Yeah, there we go. But and she couldn't live in her house, and I've had weird calls. People mix certain chemicals, and it's uninhabitable. I found out that they're allergic to this. Someone let off a bug bomb, and it turns out they're one of 13 people that happens to be extremely allergic to this one bug, and there's nothing they can do about it. They have to basically sell their house. No,
Oh.
you could go in there and be totally fine, but there's like 13 reported incidents
Dude,
where
those bug bombs are unreal though. You talking about those little like
Yeah,
cans?
they're
there was a
pretty
little
rank.
can, man, and
Yeah.
like on the back, like you look it up, and there's like 13 people in the world that have used this and that like have had a similar
Destroyed them.
reaction.
Yeah.
And yeah, like she's like, I'm really hate to break it to you, but you're gonna sell your home. If this is the same thing that these 13 people had, you'll never live there again. Like there's nothing you can
Dude.
do. Nothing.
Oh,
It's not worth it.
Yeah, that's bad.
But like, so we get in some weird situations, dealing with PFAS or different like weird hazardous chemicals but yeah, I have people I can reach out to.
But overall, though, where you stand right now, you've experienced like
I've
majority
experienced
of.
some weird things. I'm sure I'm going to be surprised. I always
You're
get.
gonna leave here and get a rank call.
I've had some weird freaking calls, man. One call, this lady was saying that people were pooping in her attic. I'm like, what? What do you mean
Happens to
people
the
are
best of us.
Pooping in your attic, like squat. It turns out she was crazy.
Surprise, surprise.
Happens a lot.
Yeah.
She did not. She believed people were pooping in her attic, and I
Wow.
was like, I think it's raccoons. Are you sure it's people? They
Yeah.
look like human feces. And she's like, no, it's people. And the sheriff admitted it, and she had all these delusions. And I gave her a quote, and I'm like, please, like, do not use this. Like, it won't even affect you if you can't afford this. If you can't, like, I was just like, and then the son thankfully got the email, called me up, like, thank God that we know that she's crazy. It's not like a real situation.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was trying to get power of attorney. He did. And
You were
then-
looking out for her.
yeah, so then I was able to like prolong the incident. Like she kept calling me, "Are you, coming out here and doing this?" And I'm like, "Well, she had this whole thing
Yes, man. We're
talking
working
about how
on
the
it.
Army Corps of Engineers was in there and sent someone to fix this thing. They cut all our beams in half." And I'm like,
Bro.
I went and called the Army Corps of Engineers, and we're just checking on some things. So just take some time for them.
Nice.
So I'm just like prolonging it so that she didn't reach out to another company that would just totally take advantage of her until
Yeah.
he could get his stuff.
Good
figured
on
out.
you, man.
And then he got it figured out, and then I didn't have any more calls.
Good
like
on
that.
you. Most
So,
people would just block her call.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
wear
yeah.
the cape without anyone watching, man.
Yeah,
That
man.
was it was interesting. I was so confused when they first called. I was like, "What?
Yeah,
I never had someone pooping in an attic before." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
over
an
and
odd
over and over.
That's an odd spot to
Let one ride.
Yeah.
let some
that was-
defecate loose.
yeah. But we've had some bat jobs that were interesting.
Bad job.
Like evicting a bat or
No,
cleaning
no,
up
no,
a
no,
bat?
No, feces cleanup, and so like just doing the cleanup after. We've had some interesting ones there, and
in the bat cave.
Guano.
yeah, down in the Keys, it was interesting. We
Oh,
had to,
yeah?
like, tear apart these two condos, and
Damn.
that stuff is
Dude, you've had
pretty
some
bad.
cool stuff.
Yeah, some interesting animal ones. We've
Can
had
be
ones
super
with
easy
like
and
50 cats in a home that just destroy everything. We've had, I mean, so many crazy jobs, just crazy bio scenes, crazy hoarding scenes, crazy things you find in the hoarding jobs. I mean, it's an interesting field for sure, but not
It's
always
so
for the faint of
interesting.
heart. And you're dealing with a lot of emotions. If you're not like willing and able to like
Hey.
to
like take that on almost. An
be
experience.
there,
Yeah.
you've got to like
Bear
live,
part of their burden.
bear part of their. That's a good way to say it. Like you're living through it with them. Like they're like sharing
'Cause
their
you're
heart with you.
You're responding, because you say bodies sit for 2 weeks sometimes, whatever. When you respond, the person that I guess first of kin or whoever it may be that called law enforcement or you or whenever you showed up, they also were just kind of notified as
Yeah,
well, right?
and so you're dealing with the fresh,
Yeah.
like they're
Yeah.
like freshly grieving, and then you're dealing with them all throughout the process. Like one day you'll call them, and this person might be going through the angry phase, and
Yeah.
they're just like super irritable, and you like there's a lot of people that might seem crazy, and they're not crazy.
No,
They're just going through a
yeah.
crazy hard thing.
They're going through a hard time.
But I understand going back where you're saying being truthful, like your
Mm-hmm.
workers and stuff, like, I'm sure, you don't need to get into it, but like even just someone trying to bring up even a small lawsuit about, an item being stolen or that they
Yeah, I've had
you
people
know.
call me later on. They're like, "Dude,
I
this,
know I had a
was this
Rolex,
thing
yeah.
there?" I'm like,
Bro.
"You can go through all of our reviews. I can give you 20 customers that will tell you that like
Yeah.
we
We
found
did
a
not
$250,000 cash on a job,
Really?
$10,000 in a broom handle hidden."
What?
And like it would have been very easy to stash some of that away and throw it in and find it later. One of my John Clifford, the guy that I bought the business from, one of his first jobs was in Miami, and they were cleaning out this condo stacked to the ceiling, like crawling level throughout the whole ceiling. And they had a dumpster out the patio window, and they were just chucking things over the ledge, like 2 stories up, just chucking things in the dumpster. Just dumpster after dumpster after like 3 dumpsters in, and they're throwing away these manila envelopes, just thousands and thousands and thousands of these manila stacks of these manila envelopes. And then like the third dumpster in, he hits one with a shovel and breaks it open, and it's just cash.
No
Every
way.
one of them had cash in it.
You're kidding me.
And he threw away. They don't even want it. He's like, I honestly wish I wouldn't have known what was inside those. Like they collected, and this was one of those weird situations where it was the state was involved. So like this, there was no next of kin. They truly were entitled to anything that they wanted because the state wasn't allowed to keep. Like this is one of those weird jobs where they were actually able to keep it. Usually you give it back to the family, no problem, no question about it. People always want the cash. There's been a couple of jobs where people didn't want the cash, and it always surprises me. You know, I'm like, it's like $1,000. Like, no, we don't care. I'm like, okay, cool.
I'll take my guys to ale house or whatever.
I just gave it. So there have been some jobs like that.
Take it as a tip or something.
Yeah, there have been jobs like that, and that happens more than you would think. Not crazy often, but usually you don't find much money. Or there's like a 5-gallon thing full of pennies. We found one the other day, like 2 5-gallon water cooler full of pennies, which was like $1,000, like 500. And they're just like, we don't care. They're inheriting a house. They don't really care. But
That surprises me. They wouldn't take $1,000 cash.
I mean, this job though, it had hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like they think they had collected. It's been a while since I heard the story, but I think it was like 3 of them, and they split like.
Now is it up to
$80 grand a piece, and they threw away way more than they collected. I mean,
really?
and there truly was, like, it was their right to have it because, again, it was somehow the state was involved and they were the ones paying them, so like they didn't have any.
Did he have any estimate on what that was?
How much money it was?
Yeah.
He was guessing somewhere around $500,000.
Oh
Just,
my
like, threw away.
gosh.
Like there was no living relatives. There
Be
was no
dumpster
anything
diving.
else. It was too late.
Oh my
Too late.
gosh.
So
How
are you
crazy?
So after, let's say after you wrap a job up, you're done. Are you the official to deem it safe for
No, I trust my guys.
the public?
I trust my guys.
But I would say your company in general.
Some people want like a certificate of sanitation, or they want something like that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, no one checks.
No.
Like in Savannah, Georgia, you gotta like tell if a house is haunted or not. Like you have to let them know.
Hey, big dog, just a quick warning. This house is definitely haunted.
This house is haunted.
I'll take it off your
that's-
hands, though.
That's a thing in Georgia. You have to like let people know if the house is haunted or not.
Wait, but
I'm dead serious.
you have to let people know?
If you're gonna sell your house, you have to let the new buyers know that this is. Oh, by the way, this is haunted.
There's a Zillow.
There's a real thing. There's a real thing. If I'm not mistaken, and that's like probably an old law that is just funny at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it like so there's nothing like that in Florida with homes that someone died in. Like, oh, do I have to like tell people that someone died in it?
Yeah.
I'm worried. Like, no, you don't. It like when we leave, it's gonna be
It's
better.
done.
There's nothing left. Like all of that is gone. The smell is gone. That's all gone. You don't know. We actually, oddly enough, I had a family member pass away in their home, and we did the cleaning, and then the family kept the home, and then they were like renting it out, and the neighbor walked up to the tent. The tenants, like the new tenants, like got there later in the day, and the neighbors walked up, and they're like, "You see any ghosts?" Yeah. Like, well, those tenants did not stay. Those tenants freaked out. They left. They're like, "Nope, we're not. Yeah, nope."
They're gone.
They're like, "Nope." But yeah, like thanks, you freaking idiot.
Dude,
like,
that's
there's no freaking
crazy.
ghost. And that one, like, there was hardly any mess even there, but it was just funny. Like,
Some people can't, dude. Some people hear that and they gone.
they just
Check that Zillow box. Not haunted. Show everything that's not haunted.
oh man. And then, like, I get it. There are some things where, like, if you have mold in your home, you really should get a post test to have a clearance. But that's a mold assessor does that. You need to have that because there are some rules about like asbestos and like there are some things you do have to like mention.
I know mold is that's like a big, right? Is that like probably more,
It's kind of, it can be dangerous.
If you know that there's mold in your home, you better have a post assessment, a clearance. If you get mold remediation done, you better take a post test. It will bite you in the butt later on if you don't. It holds the mold company accountable.
Yeah.
There's no way to know if they did a good job or not because mold is smaller than you can see. So you may think, oh, it looks good. I don't see any. And then it could still be there. They could have done a terrible job microcleaning and it could be coming back.
What's the best way to kill it? Kill mold.
Okay, so it's not just about what you kill. It's not just like about killing. It's not just about killing things. It's also about removing things that can't be killed. So with mold remediation, it's not all about the mold. It's also about the mycotoxins. Mycotoxins are the hand grenade that the mold leaves behind as a way to fight for the environment. They don't really want to compete with space. And so they leave off these little mycotoxins that hurt other living things so they don't have to compete for space. That's their way of competing is mycotoxins. They're not actually living. And so you can't kill a mycotoxin. You can technically break it down or you can physically remove it with HEPA vacuuming and microcleaning. So if you've got mold in a home, you see it starting to grow, you first contain the area off. You get testing and you find out how far it might have traveled. You see, oh, the moisture is all the way across this wall into the next room. It's probably going to be past the moisture because anything over 65% humidity, mold can begin to grow within 24 to 48 hours.
Well,
so you go past all the moisture and then you start cutting walls. You start, ideally you remove the contents out. Anywhere that dust can go, you need to microclean afterwards. So you contain all the area you think might be affected. You start removing walls. You go 2 feet beyond any visible growth, and then you soft porous materials like drywall, it gets removed. Carpet, typically removed. Some wood gets removed. Some wood can be treated and sanded or wire brushed, or you can use soda blasting or other things to get the mold out of the actual, like the hard wood.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes afterwards, after it gets tested, you then seal it. But yeah, you just treat the mold and you just cut out all the porous material and then you microclean everything. That area should be a perfectly clean demo job. Like there should be no dust. You should HEPA vac everything. You put negative air pressure on the area. You put your air scrubber up to it and it's pulling the air out of it. And so it's like a vacuum sealed bag, just pulling all of it through. That way all the air with any kind of floating mold spores gets sucked into the filtration system and it goes through and gets caught on the HEPA filter. And
this is like a regulated booth you're talking about, some code regulated booth.
A booth? No,
Booth,
this is
like that you're in, like you have to put up.
Yeah, you have to put up the thing. So like if this area had mold in it, like and there was a kitchen outside this door, you would just cover up the door area. Like you open the door, you put plastic on it. We put blue tape and then spray glue, and then put the plastic up on it, and then we put duct tape afterwards. And then sometimes you staple it if you're having a real hard time. Sometimes you have to use those things to help hold it against the ceiling. You might have tricky containment with an 18-foot ceiling, and it's super heavy, and so you have to staple it and then use these like little things to help hold it up.
Wow.
Yeah, containment can get tricky.
You have to be very thorough.
Yeah, it's thought you have to have like good, strong containment because when you do negative air pressure, it can like suck the containment off too. And so you've got to put negative air pressure on it to like make sure that all the air gets sucked out. You've also got to cover up if you cut into this wall, now you're exposing the studs. It can pull air out of the attic, which has a higher mold content than what your home does. And so you've got to cover that area up too. You want to vacuum seal it and like suck it all out. And then you're vacuuming all the surfaces with a similar filter. Then you're physically wiping all the surfaces with an antimicrobial that will kill mold. And also, yeah. So
wow,
that's kind of the
extremely thorough.
That's kind of the quick version of the for mold remediation.
Yeah. Wow.
So what are you doing right now? And where can people find you? We're going to get probably 1 million views on this, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, 1 million for sure. No, we're on everything. We've got a couple social media channels where we put some videos out. Some just awareness videos we're on Instagram, Facebook.
Florida Emergency Cleaning.
Florida Emergency Cleaning. Yep, we've got a couple on YouTube. Nothing crazy. Our website, floridaemergencycleaning.com, and then hazmatcleaners.com. We have our GMBs. We have a lot of stuff going on out there.
Nice, dude. You got it going on.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you this every time.
We really didn't.
I got so many questions, dude. I got 5 minutes.
We kind of rattled through all kinds of different things, and I don't think it sounded anything like the last one. But
no,
I learned a lot. I mean, I wasn't present for the last one. I learned a lot.
This one was
I
great.
I could chew your ear off though. I'm very interested in what.
This one was great, bro. I appreciate you coming in, and
it's fun.
I tell you this every time. I want to be Nathan Todd when I grow up.
Hopefully, you want to be a better version of me.
No, I appreciate you doing it. I don't want to hold you up. We got 4 minutes, so thanks, man.
Thank you, Mitch.
Love you, brother.
Love you too.
All right, brother. We'll see you on the next one.
Sounds good.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of The Dash in the Middle. This was such a fun episode to record. Nathan's a dear friend, and I'm just so thankful he was able to come in and share his story and his testimony with us. Give us a follow on Apple, Spotify. You can subscribe to us on YouTube as well. and you can leave us up to a 5-star review. Give us a guest that you'd like to see on the show, and we'll see you in the next one.